Okay, looks like we're going. What's up, everybody? Hopefully I'm using the right mic. I'm using my earbuds rather than my big old can.
You sound good to me. Nice and sexy.
Nice.
Yeah.
That way Perry Chan can clip something other than me having my big old headphones on. So anyway, how's everyone doing?
I'll give him some faces. Make me big for a second.
What's that?
Ooh. Make me big for a second. I'm going to give him some faces. He doesn't have much to work with me, so he wanted something earlier tonight, but we couldn't figure it out, so we're just like, whatever. Now he's got a few faces he can work with.
Hey.
Oh man, I've sometimes I regret shit. The hey thing.
I love that so much.
Well, I get for being goofy, you know. It's like
now it's your catchphrase.
Now it's my catchphrase. My catchphrase isn't even hey, it's sup. You know.
Well, that's true, but you know, sometimes.
Well, the funny thing is, when I did that, I was thinking that Family Guy episode where, oh god, what was it? The Fat Albert. He's like, hey.
Oh, hey.
That one guy. Well, not Fat Albert. Was anyway. There's also that one guy who says, hey.
Oh, hey. That's
Hey. Yeah.
Damn it, what's his name?
Hey,
Ray or whatever. Something like that. I can't remember his damn name now.
Yeah, it's been a while. So anyway, there's that episode of Family Guy where he's like, how?
Oh god,
because they're Native Americans. Yeah. Anyway, so
in 26 minutes, Bill and Ted goes live.
Good to know. Okay. So we were doing some pre-game warm-up. We're talking about stuff that's going on in the world. We're talking about the world burning again. Because that's
probably it's America that's doing most of the burning. My world is okay for now.
Yeah. Well,
but it could go crazy any moment.
Yeah. Remember the first time this crap happened, it spread all over the place. Real quick, let me get the super chat, the £5 super chat from Emotionally Unstable Amphibian. Excuse me. Didn't think I would stay awake till 4 a.m. UK time, but I'm having a hypomanic episode. So hey, yay! So yay! Sorry. Sorry, dude. That sucks. But welcome. Hopefully you get some sleep. That kind of blows.
And I love your name.
Yeah, that is the best.
Yeah, it's
dude.
an interesting name. I like that.
So he was asking when am I going to get my membership set up for YouTube, and at some point I know I need to do it too, man. It's pretty terrible. And we just got a super chat in from Toxic Man Flu, $2 Canada to milk toast to burn. Anyway,
speaking of
we were talking about the stuff that's happening and how Wisconsin's on fire. Milwaukee's on fire. Is it part of Milwaukee?
Kenosha and Milwaukee, I think, have been hit the worst. Madison, I know, had some issues. But as we've learned, Wisconsinites don't fuck around. And I'm not talking about that one kid. I'm talking about all the other stuff. The warning shots, the guys on top of the roofs, the building up of the barricades. Like, they're not going to play games. And I warned everybody that Wisconsin was the Texas of the North for a reason. Everybody's got a fucking gun. And I think actually by the state numbers, there's enough guns in the state for everybody to have like 3 or 2 at least. Something like that.
Yeah. Which is funny because I've been working on my new AR pistol. It's still a work in progress. I had to order some additional parts for my trigger because the pins kept sliding out, and it's like, that's not working.
I want to get a RoboCop gun replica and see one of those fuckers run up on me.
You want an automatic extended pistol?
Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
Yeah. Jay's Feller for $5. Clap for Hypnotoad.
Well, the sound of his gun, I think they got from like a Gatling gun, right? in that movie.
I think so,
I'm pretty sure from what I remember them saying, like, just to make it sound like it had some oomph.
Yeah. But there's a lot to talk about. I mean, we can talk about the stuff we're talking about, the kid that shooting that happened, and it already seems like the media is trying to misrepresent things. And I know Ishi, you can kind of give some background. I know you're pretty well versed on this, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of OCD when it comes to what's going on in the news. So from what I can tell you, I tracked down all the videos I could and watched them. And across the board, it was very clearly a self-defense incident. But from everything that I can find out, as they said, he crossed straight lines, which is true. But apparently, state lines in this case was a suburb that was like 15 minutes away from Kenosha. So, I mean, it technically isn't really as onerous as they make it sound on the news. Second, he actually was there with a militia group that had been apparently there for the last 3 days, cleaning up graffiti, guarding businesses, and applying first aid. And there's quite a few interviews and footage of him doing this.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
well, the thing that was interesting, and I'm not sure what happened, because the police were there, and the police said they thanked them for helping out before they left, or he left, but he was at another car lot, and somebody fired a gun at him. It looks like.
Yeah.
And there was another guy that was next to him. He turned, and I guess the guy lunged at him or something. And that's the guy he shot in the head.
And one had a knife and the other had a Glock.
Yeah.
And also, apparently, even the New York Times, this is the real shocker, is they had 3 legal experts come in and review it. And they said, yeah, aside from the open carry across state lines, there's really nothing on him.
Yeah.
I mean, this was the New York Times. So you'd figure if anyone was going to be biased.
Well, yeah, no kidding. But when you have so much footage, and that's the thing that we're kind of seeing that's coming out, like even like with the George Floyd thing, we saw the body cam footage that was leaked, and which tells a completely different story. It at first it seemed like a clear cut and dry case of police brutality, and then you find out that the guy kicked his way out of the vehicle. He was already saying that he couldn't breathe, and then he told the cops, "Put me on the ground."
Yeah,
and it's pretty clear that the dude was high.
Yeah,
it's still unfortunate that he lost his life. It really is. But
lethal amounts of fentanyl in his bloodstream.
Yeah, and the I wouldn't say it's the toxicology report. It's the totally blanking on it. The coroner's report said that he did die of basically drugs.
Fentanyl. Yeah, drug-induced asphyxiation, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah,
I think that was it. So yeah, it's all pretty crazy, and this is the thing that is unfortunate, is the fact that they're spinning these narratives, and this is the problem. It's not really a problem. It's actually a good thing that when these things are being filmed and you have the body cam footage, it tells a completely different story.
Well, it starts recording from the beginning, where most of the on-site recordings happen at the middle, because how often does a person get lucky enough to get the beginning of the story on film? It's usually a rarity. On top of that, too, it does show the double-edged sword of not just the body cams, but us having portable cameras with us, because, again, yes, it will give us a more clear picture, but until all that information is released publicly, we don't actually know what's happening. So we have this knee-jerk response to go to the quickest and simplest solution based on our own personal experiences and biases.
Well,
and the worst case scenario is that we turn into a 1984 state where everything's monitored and then it just keeps us quelled. And I don't really like that idea.
Well,
no, that's pretty frightening.
The state monitored everyone. This is a bit different because it's a free-for-all.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Which is massively different. But I was going to say, the thing about the George Floyd incident that really, really is onerous on the media's part was when they were spinning the narrative that this guy had been choked out by a cop, and that they were pushing the he was murdered narrative. They already had the body cam footage.
Why wasn't it released earlier?
Yeah, they chose not to.
That's so
Was it the media that chose not to, or was it the police that chose not to? I don't know.
The media, well, what it was, from what I understand, I could be wrong here. What I understand is the media couldn't show it, but they were allowed to see it until the courts did something. It couldn't be released because they had to decide things. It was some legal thing. But the media had access to it, and they chose to spin the narrative the way they did.
Wow.
Well, that's a violation of the Fourth Estate, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, they don't seem to care.
Well, but they haven't cared about that for a very long time. Script.
Yeah, it's the whole
early
if it
90s is
bleeds,
the last
it
I
leads.
recall.
Yeah.
So in a sense, the fact that we've got all these cameras, I mean, on the one end, yeah, it kind of sucks that we're always being watched by our neighbors now. But at least it's not only in the hands of the state or the press.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, I got to say, there is some security in the knowledge that if someone breaks into your house, you can turn your flip phone on before you shoot them.
Yeah.
And say, hey,
very,
look.
very true. Hey guys, keep talking. I need to get something to drink. My throat's really drying out talking.
You
So
just
I'll be
got
back
the
real
link
quick.
for that other thing, so I'm gonna head out and try and get back here before you guys are done, so we can talk about that other stuff. Okay.
Okay. All right.
All
So
right. Thanks, guys. Take care until then.
See you
See
in a
ya.
bit.
Well, damn,
All right.
now we're not going to be able to argue whether this is right or not. He was
Alright.
the
I could try and serve
educator.
as
He
a
was-
proxy.
Yeah,
Because I know what
he
he's
was.
understanding.
yeah. But like I
Yeah,
said,
kids-
I'll be right back. Let me get some water.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
Well,
Because
the
he's
good
like-
news.
Yeah, go for it.
Go ahead. Yeah, no script.
No,
Go ahead.
go for it.
Oh no, I was just
Where'd
going to
you
say
go?
the good news about this kid in Kenosha is that he is now being represented by Nicholas Sandman's attorney.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
So he's going to cash in because think about all the false narratives that have been spun by the news media that are completely inaccurate at this point. And not actually maybe the worst of which is they called him a white supremacist when he is actually Hispanic, amongst other things.
Did not know that.
So,
Wait,
But according to modern 2020 culture, you can be a white supremacist and not be white because you just view that white people are superior. Apparently,
Look,
that's a spin talk.
that Ben Shapiro is also a Nazi. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, Andy Ngo is a white supremacist.
Yeah.
Why don't
See,
they
that's the problem.
attack things that Ben Shapiro is actually guilty of, like not being very funny, and also like he's the most unfunny Jewish person I know, and me being of Jewish culture, like come on, like that
Yeah, I
says a
actually
lot.
just can't get past his voice.
Oh, I don't even care about the
Yeah.
voice. I'm listening to the words.
Yeah.
So my headphones actually almost make it down to the kitchen.
That's cool.
Yeah. Right when I got to the beer fridge, I decided to get a Angry Orchard instead.
Good call. Good call.
It's like it was like cutting it out, so I caught most of what you guys were talking about. It's pretty great.
So anyway,
So yeah, this whole thing is just crazy, and I don't know. It seems so intentional with the spinning of everything.
I think we
Yeah.
can move beyond scenes. It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just nobody screws up this many times. At some point, you're blatantly doing it.
Well,
And-
it's willful though. I mean, it used to be that you wanted to protect someone's identity, so you in the Fourth Estate they honored that until somebody broke it, and then from that point forward, everything continued to go downhill. The types of and then we started to get into gotcha journalism and everything else, and we don't even the Fourth Estate does not even bother to research stories anymore.
No.
99% of what you read is a press release, and all they do is reword it. Sometimes they don't even do that. I think Script and I have had this conversation before.
Yeah.
So, it's bad to the extent that because they have a worldview, because this is what they've been teaching kids in school for a couple decades now, and because this is everything that these kids that are now these reporters have been taught, they have a worldview. They do not. They don't have any. They don't have any correct. They don't have any correct history, world history, or U.S. history for that matter. And they don't bother with investigation. Everything is a knee-jerk reaction, and this is how I feel about this. So it must be true. Not these are the facts. So this must be true.
Well,
Yeah,
it's a
crazy.
severe lack of
Real
critical
quick,
thinking
I just
exercises.
realized that there was a couple of like super chats that came in before we started. So emotionally unstable reptile for 3 pounds sent a sticker, and fist bump. It's a dude doing fist bump, and then Culture Casino, you for $1.49, you sent a not a doomicorn, a very phallic unicorn.
That's right.
And of course, Christy sends us a poop emoji for 99 cents.
Thanks, Christy.
So yeah, all this stuff, it's nuts, man. It's fucking crazy.
So as for the kid being out there, should he have been there? Should he not? I think ideally we wouldn't want him out there. That makes sense.
Mhm.
And I think across the board we can agree on that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a 17-year-old kid. He's old enough to be left alone at home, but he shouldn't really be he should be with a parent or guardian if he's crossing state lines to volunteer and help people.
Which he
with
may
that.
have been. We don't
Which he
know.
may have been, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well, and that's
we
the thing
don't-
too. Is I don't blame him for wanting to help. You know, I mean, because the guy was literally there to help give aid. I mean, he showed off his med pack, and he's like, "I just have this for protection." But it's like, I'm here to help and run. And he was actually helping protesters, people that were injured. Yeah. So it's not like he was there with malicious intentions, but that's how they're going to fucking paint it. Yeah.
Again, this is the press going way too far.
Yeah. It's such a misrepresentation.
But what I was going to say, it's a shame that, I forget his name, who left. Tom, it's a shame he left because, I'm of two minds. Yeah, he should not have been there. But at the same time, how often do we have these outreach groups who go out and go into dangerous places to help people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Second, if we really do hit a point where the left gets their way and we don't have law enforcement and we're left to our own devices, I hate to put it this way, but there were a whole lot of 17 and 16-year-olds during the Civil War out there.
Yes,
that's true.
And a bunch that enlisted in World War I and II as well, lied about their age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and some of them didn't have to lie, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to say, here's the thing.
did.
If the left gets what they want and they repeal, the police, it's like, then you need to go and repeal all the gun laws.
Yeah.
Every single one.
It should have never been allowed to get this far.
No.
Well, but again, I mean, okay, so if you're the president of the United States right now, the worst thing you could do is take an overtly and large scale action, a provocative action against these people. So what you do is you manage, your federal resources in a supporting role for states. You allow the governance of that individual state or city to lead for as long as it's reasonable. And that's what's been happening. And what it's done is it's exposed all of these particular cities. I'm going to be careful. It's exposed them. The reason your city is burning, the reason your city is violent, the reason your crime is rising, the reason that you have all of these issues is because your leadership failed you. Oh, and by the way, they've been failing you for 40, 50, 60 years now. And because it's always the same places, guys. It's always the same thing. And then when you start, the places you see pushback from the citizenry, that stuff gets knocked out, So it's like I said, I mean, I don't know what you would have. And this is what I asked my one of my brothers. I said, what would you have the president do in this situation? Because it's a no-win situation for him if he takes a large-scale overt action. So how would that be beneficiary for him? If anything, then every single claim that the folks on the alt-left side of the aisle will do will be hurled at him. And they essentially the people that are coming off as the brown shirts right now are the Antifa and BLM types, and because that's what they are. You don't want to give them an opportunity to cast that message in the wrong direction, which they've been doing forever now anyway. So anyway, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Real quick, Computer Robots has a question. Hi, everyone. I want your opinion on this. Do you think that America is still patriarchal or has it become a matriarchal country? Neither. I mean, this is the whole point of a representative democracy, is that you vote people in. So it's not one or the other that's dominating. It's not like we have God Emperor Trump sitting on the throne or anything. I mean, the guy's an elected official, and it's the same thing with Congress and Senate and your local your local governments. So no, I don't think
it's not really patriarchal or matriarchal. What it is that there is a political industry where people are serving far longer than they're actually being able to be effective. And the one thing that that can happen, like, it's a double-edged sword when it comes to politics, whether you're in a parliamentary system or a presidential system, because with your Congress and Senate, you can run for as many terms as you want. Same thing for in a parliamentary system, which I am very much opposed to. I think no politician should be serving more than 16 years, personally. Like in normal parts with regards to like leadership roles, such as a prime minister or a president or any other position of that same equal power. I think 8 years is a pretty solid piece, because again, they're only really supposed to be a guiding leadership. They're not supposed to be ones that are like, it's not like a very top down thing. It's supposed to be bottom up. And then the leadership kind of is just there to consult and unify and whatnot. That's why when I look at my country's politics, when I look at the United States' politics, and you see senators and Congress people that have been there for the majority of their lives, and then you take a look at their track record and you realize that they lost that hunger after their third or fourth term, and now they're just kind of, keeping a seat warm. you kind of wonder what the heck's going on here. And they prey on the comfortability of the voters themselves, who liked what that politician did when they first entered office, and they're holding on to those feelings as they keep voting him in over and over again. And I think that needs to change, and it can only change it won't change from Congress by voting on term limits, because they'll never do it. It can only change really by the people who choose to run and be hungry politicians that want to do good for their local communities, and sort of change the game on a very knowing that they're not going to be able to do a big 180 on the entire country, but being able to do significant changes here and there in the small, and hopefully it just builds up over time to something that helps and benefits the people that vote them in.
Yeah, and the governance of this country is because our country is pluralistic in every single way. We accept you as you are when you enter our country. We have people of every faith. We have people of every ethnicity, origin, et cetera, et cetera. We are a melting pot in the strictest sense. So there's no patriarchy, matriarchy kind of a situation here. Obviously, in the beginning of this country, leadership was male. But again, we abandoned all those traditional roles a long, long time ago when it comes to representation in this country. But more to the point of what Script was saying, if we wanted to, it would take 2/3 of the states to put something on the books that would limit terms, because there's no way that those folks are going to limit their power. Because right now, their power, when you're a representative or senator, your goal is to attain power. Your power is basically the position that you attain in different committees. And the only way that you can get higher and higher positions is if somebody up the rung, dies or retires or whatever. And your goal is to attain those positions, because those are far more lucrative, not just for the state that you represent, but for yourself personally.
Hey, real quick, I want to point something out that 66 Miss Pixie brought up. She got unsubscribed. I'm glad that you were able to find my channel again. That's the reason why I started the website. So if you guys can go and bookmark pixelnation.io, and once we get the forums going, I want to set out notifications that way, because I'm getting 0 notifications for all the channels I have the bell on. Like literally, I don't get YouTube notifications at all anymore. It's the weirdest thing. I don't get anything for Nerdrotic. I don't get anything for Tim Pool. I don't get anything for World Class Bullshitters. Like all the YouTube channels I'm used to watching, I don't get notifications for. Hello, Tabitha. So yeah, I mean, when we get the forums going, I think there's some stuff I can do to get notifications sent out to people, and then I will manage my own notifications. Screw YouTube. So that's the reason why I keep encouraging people to go to the website, check things out. Still haven't had a chance to get the forums going. I just might need to pull the trigger on it. But anyway, So this is Tabitha, the live streaming cat. Say hi, Tabitha.
Hi, Tabitha.
Hello. Anyway, she used to meow at my door all the time whenever I was live streaming. It was pretty funny. So
She's cute.
now she's actually in here just being a pain.
As cats do.
Yeah, as cats do.
I like that brindle pattern. I always do. Cats or dogs.
Yeah, she's an interesting cat. When I found her at my old place, and she was she was a box kitten. You know, we were my wife and I were walking the dogs. We're going to check the mail, and there was some people in our neighborhood that moved out, and there was a crate, and there was like a lady there with her kid, and we were walking. We're like, "What's going on over there?" And we saw a kitten poke its head out, and it's like, "Oh, good Lord." So they left it, and I went over and checked it out. I was like, here, take the dogs. And it was a box of 3 kittens, and we're like, we can't just leave these cats here. This is terrible. So the other 2 got homes, and initially she didn't like me at all. It was pretty funny, and I was gonna try and find her another home, and she just was like, "Oh, I'm staying. Don't get rid of me." It's like, fine, I'll keep you. So yeah. And here she is. Anyway, so yeah, Catman. We got all the pets here, man. Cats and dogs. I got Buddy over here laying in his bed, and I got Tabitha running around. So I'm gonna have to kick her out. She's gonna get really annoying at some point. But we have some other stuff to talk about tonight. Some fun stuff, mostly fun stuff.
Good news, right?
Yeah, kind of good news. Disney. There's some rumors that Doomcock reported on saying that Disney is going to become more fan and customer focused, and they're going to tell their SJW employees like Brie Larson to zip it. So this will be interesting. I mean, clearly because of what's going on with the beer bug, the failures of Star Wars. They need to bring the fans back. And obviously the easiest way of doing that is for them to shut their fucking mouths.
Yeah.
Go back to being the puppets that they were and only speak what lines that are given to them by writers in actual story groups that are not agenda driven.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
I've got a shot then.
This includes everybody from Kathleen Kennedy to the Lucasfilm story group to actors. And I gotta get the cat out. Hang on a second.
I have a strong suspicion that the Lucasfilm story group will be dissolved by the end of 2021.
Yes. Yes.
Because it's not really serving a purpose.
I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised by that.
It's not really serving a purpose. I think it'll be changed to whoever ends up becoming the new president of Lucasfilm. They'll incorporate their own set of producers that are going to keep line on continuity with regards to whatever's going forward with their franchises across Disney Plus and the films. And I'm really hoping that. However, Kevin Feige is being integrated into this area. He builds a proper infrastructure for Lucasfilm because they've never had one since their inception.
I love how you have a Kathleen Kennedy expiration date counter. That's fantastic.
Yep. This is a contract that will not be renewed.
I hope so.
I'm worried for whoever has to follow her.
They're trying to boot her 90 days early, guys. So this could be wrong, but in a good way.
Yes. Hopefully you'll be wrong in a good way.
Yeah. No, it's So along the lines of what Script says, yeah, they need proper top to bottom leadership structure for sure.
Yes. So this is the article here. And again, this was coming from Bounding in the Comics, which is reporting on Doomcock's video, which again, as he stated, take it with a grain of salt, folks. I understand that it's a good possibility that this could be wrong. Sorry, what was that?
Don't get our hopes up too much.
Well, not only that, just keep in mind that it doesn't prevent Disney from still following through their diversity and inclusion programs.
Yeah,
that is true.
Right. It's just saying like we don't want those types of I guess SJW-isms being used within our products as we present them to potential customers and fans.
Well,
so
it doesn't mean that their products won't be woke. It just means that what they're planning on doing is making sure that they're not combative with the fans.
Yeah.
Well, but consider this, that ILM is currently doing one of those, or either is now doing it this weekend, or it's coming up very soon. So just consider that one of those lovely diversity things is happening.
Mm-hmm. So what is this? What is ILM doing?
They're going through their additional Diversity Plus training, their Diversity Plus training, because everything's a plus with Disney. You have Disney Plus, you have Fast Pass Plus, you have I Need to Go to the Bathroom Plus, you have My Movie Super Sucks Plus, you have all of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But that's what all that is. So, so that's coming up either this weekend or in the very near future. So, but yeah, that's ILM with just ILM. And
well, sadly, that is a very common thing right now going on with with companies.
Yeah, and Goodyear did a great job with theirs. That thing got out to the public and really pissed some people off.
I haven't followed too much into it, but it was pretty funny that the president reported on it, and they're like, "Oh no, this didn't happen," and then there's like some leaked audio.
There's audio, there's video, there's photographs of the slides from the presentation. I'm like, shut up. You got caught doing dumb stuff. You're alienating 50% of your customer base, you idiots.
Whoever did that was really smart, because it was very clear they had the audio. And they didn't release it till Goodyear put their foot in their mouth.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's the good strategy to do there.
Yeah.
Just dangle a carrot, see how far they go, and then
once they
cross that line.
This thing didn't happen.
Oh, dude, no! Why would you say that? No.
All right, real quick before we get to this article from Toxic Manflu for $5. Trojan Horse. Remember when JJ came out loving fan films during the Axonar lawsuit to keep people from protesting beyond? Yeah.
Yeah, well, he did produce it, so he needed it to be successful, even though he didn't direct or contribute to the writing of it. And of the 3 films, Beyond is the superior of those 3. So it didn't deserve getting the negative impact in the box office that it did, because it was definitely more of a Star Trek film.
To a degree.
It definitely had a lot of it, like the JJ isms still there, but James Wan, who directed it, really tried to make it more Star Trek like, and it's far more pleasant to watch than basically Into Darkness, and the villain is still stupid like all the other ones in the JJ verse.
Yeah,
but at least everything leading up to it was more character driven. Yeah.
Well, the other thing too, the fact that they made Sulu gay. I mean, and the guy,
that was
I'm totally blanking on his name.
Upset George Takei,
the original
too,
actor. So. Yeah, George Takei. Yeah, there we go. George Takei. The guy who was actually gay and gay married was like, no, don't make him gay.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Because you're basically taking something personal to George Takei and applying it to a character he played and you're saying it's to honor the actor. And it's like, no, that doesn't honor me at all.
No, it really doesn't.
You're pandering to me, and you're pandering to the people that my community at the same time, and it's just
What was that, Ishi?
I was going to say, but don't you know that right now only gay people can play gay people now?
That's apparently the guideline. Yeah.
Sometimes
John Cho's got some explaining to do.
I need to get like a cricket bat or something. And anytime like that something happens, I just want to start smacking myself in the freaking head.
No, don't hurt yourself, because we need you.
That's true.
The world needs.
You're not like the monks in Monty Python who just wander around saying like "Do mi
chanting Gregorian chants and smacking your head with the board. I feel like that, man. I feel like I need to do that. Oh, God damn it. All right. New rumors claim that top priority Disney is to remove SJW employees. That would be fan-fucking-tastic if that actually happens.
Good luck trying to do that, because all those SJW employees identify as a type of minority, and then they can claim discrimination and termination for that.
No, I'm pretty sure there's ways for them to to be able to do that.
Well, they have Disney
Oh, there's
rules.
definitely other ways. Like, there's definitely legal ways for them to be terminated, but they can just argue around it because, again, that's what they do. That's how they got to where they
even
are.
with the even if that's the case, even if you are a protected group, if you have proper documentations, you can still fire somebody.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. New rumors claim that top priority at Disney that will affect Marvel, Star Wars, is to remove SJW employees, as top executives have realized that "Go woke, go broke" is not just a slogan. Yes, so true. The rumor comes from YouTuber Overlord Doomcock, who refers to his information saying, "I have heard the following information once again from high level sources, and the persistence of the information leads me to believe that there may be something to the story. So I'm presenting it to you now." He adds, "Please note, however, again, as we kind of said earlier, I cannot independently verify what I'm about to tell you. So please consider this as unverified rumor and take it with a dash of salt." That's something that we should all definitely do when it comes to rumors. Yeah. Sprinkle the salt on, salt the wound, salt the earth. I don't know.
So nothing can grow again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anywhere an SJW is, salt the earth.
Yeah.
Just salt it.
Nuke the site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure. Let's see. I just noticed that there's. Okay, gotcha. Let's see here. He then gets into the thick of the rumors, stating, according to a source who has been reliable in the past, the shit is about to hit the fan at Disney. I'm being told that getting the SJWs out of Disney is priority one.
God, I hope that's true.
I hope it is too. And just remember, here's the thing. And I've said this before. Ideology does not protect you from being fired.
Nope. It shouldn't.
Yeah. So if you're a Trump supporter and you're very vocal, yeah, you could be fired for that. It's kind of weird. But yeah, political beliefs are not protected. It is, however, in DC, and it makes sense why. Mm-hmm. But everywhere else, it's not a protected class.
Yep.
Well, I was just telling some of my my students, because I do some teaching on the side here and there that for screenwriting, and I was telling them that if you are applying for contests, don't specify your gender or ethnicity when they ask for it, because they will automatically reject you. Because that's actually been the case. One of my friends who oversees the contest noticed that some of the assistants that were sorting through the entries were basically separating them by gender and ethnicity. And
here's the thing you could do to cheat that is like go to Wikipedia and just pick something that says, "Oh, I could maybe pass as this gender," and then submit that.
Oh, the thing is they have drop-down tabs. So you have to pick one of three. So male, female, or other.
Well, other. There you go.
Then I just say pick the others. Always pick the others, because that'll at least get you. They'll at least start taking your content seriously. And even though it's ethically wrong for them to discriminate like that, it's just the way it is right now. So if you're in these, I always recommend them to contests that are like dirt cheap, that are either free or like $10 entries, because I don't believe people should be profiting off of screenwriters that want to make it into the industry. Mm-hmm. So I recommend those contests, and when they start doing that, I'm like, this is what you do to get past those hurdles, so that when it actually does get to the people that do the reading and the judges, because they're the ones that don't sort those scripts, they don't even get that information. It's all blind. So the one thing you want to do is just want to get more eyes on your work. So the moment you start saying that you're either a male or a female or white or black, what have you, that changes the sorting process. So it's pathetic. It shouldn't be that way. It's the thing that I have to tell these kids who are like, because I don't get paid for teaching them. I volunteer at the Organics in the city. So I just recommend that to them, and they say, "Oh, really? I got to do that." It's like, yeah. And I have students of all different types, and I'm like, even telling them to them, don't specify it at all. Let your writing speak for itself. And if they like you enough, and it's the people in charge that like to do this stuff, they will reach out to you, and then you'll get some traction that way. But the moment you volunteer information that's none of their business is the moment they use it against you.
Yeah. This shit's crazy, man.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, like I said, this is the issue with the way they're proceeding now is that you're because they're doing this, you're going to force people to go, oh, I'm this gender. I'm a nightkin. Whatever the fucking nightkin
like
is.
5 years ago, I made a joke because there was a new production company that was looking for transgendered writers, and I said, I will say whatever gender you want just to get me into a meeting to talk to these people, because some of the people that work there are people I've wanted to work with for years.
Right.
And my rep at the time was laughing. He's like, I don't think I can say that. Says, you'll say whatever the hell I want you to say because you work for me. And it definitely got me into the door, which was fun. It was a good meeting, but they eventually said, like, yeah, we need someone of this. It's like, listen, I will do whatever you need to on the writing side of things to achieve the goals that you want to do.
You want me showing up in a dress and wig? I will.
Like, yeah, well, I said, you want me to throw on a dress or a skirt? Like, I've got some Scottish background. I'm comfortable with a kilt. I can reconcile that. It's not a problem. And there's like, no, optics would look bad if it got out that you weren't actually what you're lying about. It's like, well, optics are going to look bad when this kind of blows up in your face and you can't actually get products that's going to sell. And 5 years later, they still have not sold any of their this works that the people they've hired that fit those demographics yet. Not to say that they've picked not to say that those people that they're looking at are bad writers, just that they did not pick the best writers of those groups.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah.
Well, but here's the thing. We went from discrimination is bad to mandatory discrimination now.
Yeah, I know. Yes. That's the irony, right?
Yep.
It's not discrimination. It's giving opportunity to underprivileged groups.
No, it's positive discrimination.
It's positive discrimination.
Well, it's also the most patronizing thing ever, because it's like that person will never get into the industry unless they get this conveniently redefined I guess definition to elevate them into something that they have not maybe earned. Because it's different for someone that is very, very good and is just getting knocked down for discrimination purposes, and all of a sudden these blocks are gone and now they're actually able to get in. Like, that's different, but the thing is, it's blocks being taken down, not being put up. And that's what people aren't understanding when it comes to these diversity and diversity initiative programs.
Yeah. It's ridiculous, and this is why we're getting such shit stories, is we have such shit writers that don't belong in the shit jobs that they have doing the shit writing that they're doing.
There's also a lot of nepotism.
A lot of shit.
Yeah, that's the don't just blame it on that. There's also the fact that way too many people writing these movies are kids of rich producers who have no business getting anywhere near the script.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Was it Kasdan's kid? He wrote Solo.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, John's not like, listen, Lawrence Kasdan is a decent screenwriter. He's been very lucky because again, Raiders of the Lost Ark was an assignment project for him. He didn't come up with that idea. And on top of that too, Empire Strikes Back was also an assignment project for him. Lee Brackett came up with the idea. Her original draft is actually still pretty good. A lot of what was in that carries over to the final product. And then George Lucas rewrote everything of Empire Strikes Back at the very last minute in order to make the twist work and the whole mythology of the Jedi kind of wander in there. But Kasdan got the credit because he's the one that's a screenwriter and he's the one that was still alive at the time. So he was able to parlay that into a pretty lucrative career. But when you take a look at his actual track record, he has a lot of forgettable films. And that says wonders. Now you got like William Goldman, who did Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. He did The Princess Bride, like two of the greatest movies of the 20th century. And then he only ever worked on things that he cared about and liked. And he made a lot of enemies in Hollywood because he hated the fact that everybody claimed to have know something when he himself is like, I don't know shit. So how could you know anything? And that's just the nature of the game. Like they say, like Disney and other studios will say, okay, we'll get a writer who's associated with this great hit movie and ignore the fact that there was a team effort behind it. And then we'll also bring in his son because maybe good writing and the ability to craft great story is genetic, which
it runs in the family.
Yeah, it runs in the family, so it must be true. Which is not the case. And then you have John Kasdan, who he's not. I mean, he's faking it until he makes it, but he's making it for all the wrong reasons. So he's just going to keep faking it, and we're just going to be the ones suffering as a result.
So let's see. He wrote The Big Chill, which nobody remembers anymore because that was for boomers. He wrote
It's a good film. Good film.
Grand Canyon, The Bodyguard.
Bodyguard only was a
I've
success
never
because of
actually
Kevin Costner
watched it.
and Whitney Houston's cover of a Dolly Parton song.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah.
Mumford, which I actually have seen, which is a very small budget, character driven, quirky comedy made by an indie filmmaker. It was okay. And then a bunch of Star Wars related stuff that no one would ever want to admit to, like Solo.
So wait,
I thought you were gonna say the holiday special.
Yeah. I'd rather be credited with that than Solo.
so
Fair enough.
I thought Mumford was a Mamet play originally, or maybe I'm wrong.
I just remember I saw it about a
I
decade
think it
ago.
is, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
it just has him as the writer.
Yeah, so it could have been adapting a Mamet play because Mamet did there's a bunch of that work out there. So I don't know. I just thought that for whatever reason. Sorry, I'm not.
So Nikki D is asking for $5. Do you think Feige may take over Lucasfilm? If so, who would helm the MCU?
They can't afford to lose him from the MCU, but they can use him to help shape Lucasfilm. I know that he wanted to participate in one project. Script, have you heard anything on that front? Because as far as I know, Favreau's in the lead.
That'd be my guess. It would be actually Favreau.
Well, everybody expects Favreau to be in the lead, but Favreau's not that type of guy. He's not a business end of things. He's a creative end of things.
No,
he's always
he's creative.
has been, always will be. He's never gonna. If he's gonna run a studio, it's gonna be in a creative aspect. In which case, he's just talking to people who are pitching ideas and then doing his own thing, and then someone's gonna be doing the actual management stuff.
Right.
Because that's what Favreau's been since he was a stand-up comic. Like he likes to perform. He likes to direct actors. The whole organization of like, oh, we're gonna like set up these movies over this year package and do all that type of stuff. He doesn't like that stuff. That's boring to him. That he likes being the guy that pitches the ideas that go into those packages that are being proposed.
Well, then everything I had heard up to this point is inaccurate then. But it wouldn't surprise me if he had a partner. So
yeah, like if Favreau has some sort of partner that hasn't really been talked about much in any of the headlines or stories, someone that Favreau trusts who takes on that type of thing, could be the case. Favreau does have his own production company that he uses, so there might be some people in there that are qualified to take hold of those things. I don't think Feige's going to be leaving anytime soon. However, if he were to leave Marvel, I would bet probably like all the money I have that he would get either Lauren Schuler Donner or someone from Lauren Schuler Donner's company to come in to replace him, because that's where Feige started. Lauren Schuler Donner is Dick Donner's wife. She's one of the best producers in the industry. She hired Feige and produced all the movies that Feige worked on before he created the MCU over at Paramount. That would probably be the smartest strategy to do, because from that camp, everyone that I've talked to who has had the privilege to work in her company are like no nonsense producers. They get stuff done. They know how to do it. They care more about making money than they do about politics, even though they do have pretty strong politics. It's like they'll put them aside if it means that they'll be able to buy another house. Like that's just how it works. And that's the type of producers you really want.
Let's take this a step further regarding writing and politics. Really, the thing that made Star Wars work and what makes most good stories work is it transcends politics. It's about values.
Yeah, exactly. It goes back to what we've talked about. It's like you don't want Star Trek to be a product of its time. You want it to be timeless.
Right.
Yeah. And that's, in order to do that, you have to transcend politics. You have to transcend what is going on in the world. You can certainly talk about what's going on in the world.
I mean, George Lucas was kind of
in coded language.
Well, you just take the core of what it is and you apply it in an abstract way to the story you're talking about. That's how you make it timeless.
Exactly.
Because there's always good and evil, and there's always different motivations of good and evil. And there's some that you can definitely reflect. Like you could tell a really great science fiction story about a small group of crazy people that are burning down, cities and whatnot because they're claiming of some sort of oppression, but it's all being manipulated by some other third party. And so this lonely kid who wants to help ends up becoming an accidental hero, defending himself, and then rises to the occasion where he ends up overthrowing the empire and resetting things back to the world. I've just told you the story of what happened in the news a couple days ago with that poor kid crossing state lines to help out and then shoot some people that attacked him. And that's how you do it in an abstract way. You just take the actions itself and you just apply it on a different genre and whatnot. And it's very reflective of the current times, but it's also dealing with points that are of universal nature. You can apply those points in any point in time, any point in history, and understand what is going on.
You know, the really funny thing is I thought you were describing the plot to Star Wars.
Yeah, I know. But take a look at this kid a 17-year-old kid who joins a militia to help people and protect property. And you're like, yeah, those are universal aspects, a kid, someone who wants to go and help and who has to defend himself from those that are doing harm to others. Like, easy stuff to do. It's not partisan. It is political, but it's not partisan. And it's because it's not specific to those partisan ideals, you can tell that type of story in a multitude of ways.
And
well, it makes me wonder, the reason why they want to destroy the nuclear family and all these things is so, they can very easily call, certain things evil. Oh, this man is evil because he was defending the nuclear family, stuff like that. I actually had a better thought than that, but it left my head.
I actually have met people when I was in high school, I used to work at an elderly care center. So I was talking with people that were 80 to 100 years old, and they were born in farm families, which was like an average of 11 kids. And when they heard of the nuclear family, they were really upset by it because they're like, what, you're only going to have 2 kids? What the heck's wrong with you? Like, that was their perspective at the time, but they understood how society was changing and not requiring for you to have a dozen kids because, and being each family being its own independent business of.
Well, there's still aspects of the nuclear family there. Typically with
in the old days, it was like nuclear family was just small and intimate, and now it's like no nuclear. It was
extended family though. You still had the nuclear family, but there was extended family. Sometimes you had generational households. Like you see that a lot with Hispanics. Like one of my neighbors was a generational household. It was the mother and the father, their kids, and then the parents of one of the parents. So the kids, the parents, and the grandparents essentially.
See, we have something like that too in Canada, but it's a lot more pathetic. Where it's the parents, it's the grandparents, the parents, and then the grandkids that are married, all living in the same house, just because they don't want to take care of the family. The grandparents are still doing all the work and having the jobs.
Look, no offense here, but I've just got to bring up. I don't know anything about you, but you don't really seem to like Canada too much.
Well, I'm in Ontario, so I don't really like much of Canada too much because it's not the country like when I was a kid in the 80s and 90s. It was actually at a peak point. Like, there's a lot of controversy and a lot of crap going around, but there's still a lot of courtesy and respect among people and the ability to debate. And then we got a very conservative prime minister who decided to try and emulate all the worst parts of America instead of trying to make a proper bridge between the two countries that have remarkably similar cultures. And he decided to take all the negative aspects of it and use it for his own gain. And he kind of crippled the country as a result. Like, the provinces struggled a lot to try and maintain balance. And it even got to the point where our own province sold a portion of our publicly funded power network to a private industry. And then that industry just really boned everybody. And then it just made everybody really have a strong chip on their shoulder. And I have been affected by that significantly, of course. But there's still a lot of good here. I think there's a lot of things that we have in place that the United States would really benefit from. And I think there's a lot of things the United States have in place that Canada could really benefit from. And I think we should be more like a Siamese set of twins as opposed to just neighborly brothers.
Yeah. You kind of
still with different cultural differences, but just a bit more connected because we have so much more similar than we do different when it comes to things, especially on the individual level. When I've traveled to the United States, I see a lot more familiarity and behaviors in the United States that I recognize in Canada. And some of my American friends, when they do the same, they're like, yeah, that we're so much alike. It's kind of crazy that on the broader side of things, we kind of feel so different, but we're not.
But can you take Samantha Bee back?
I would love to. God, she used to be really funny, and then she decided to be. Well, then I think she divorced her husband and then got bitter about it. And
that it? Okay.
Oh, so
like
she
Jason Jones is
divorced her
not also a
husband.
funny guy either. Like I know Jason Jones. I've seen him before he got on the Daily Show, and he did this terrible movie called Ham and Cheese, and I know the director personally for that. And it was not a good production. It was not a good film. It was very lousy. But as soon as he made that movie, he then went to New York, and then him and his wife started just hitting the ground hard, trying to get on the Daily Show, and then they got the Daily Show, and then they started hitting ground hard, getting U.S. citizenships, and then when Jon Stewart left, and then they left the Daily Show, that's when they realized the only work they could get is through like political agenda stuff, and then that kind of polluted their talent and their pool, and now they're no longer as funny as they could be.
I got to admit, I'm a
That's
little
terrible.
tired of Canadians working here in politics and news who just hate the country.
Like Ali Veshti.
Yeah.
Yeah, he reminds me of a Muppet. He looks like Dr. Bunsen or Professor Bunsen.
Who is this?
Ali Veshti.
Never heard of him.
He was a political commentator in Canada for the
He's a bald
CBC,
guy
I
on
believe. He's a
No,
bald
that's
guy with
probably why
glasses on CNN.
I don't watch CNN. That's probably the reason why.
Oh, I think he left CNN and went over to MSNBC though.
I don't watch that either.
Yeah. Yeah, he's weird. David Frum also is Canadian too. He's
oddly enough,
weird.
I was stuck in Chicago in my hotel room, and it was trying to remember. It was right around 2014. I want to say maybe like August. So the Eric crap, I'm blanking on his name. The guy in New York that just had the whole chokehold thing that happened.
Oh, right.
And then I think the Michael Brown thing happened right around there. And I was bored in my hotel room. I was watching Rachel Maddow, and I was just like,
Why?
well, yeah, exactly. Because there wasn't anything else on. And there's like, she was talking about stuff that was going on, and it's like clearly this lady has a huge fucking bias. It's like I never watched Rachel Maddow before. It's like I heard about her, and as I'm watching, it's like clearly it's like this lady's off her fucking rocker.
Yeah.
And yeah, I ended up changing the channel, but after like an hour watching her, it's like, okay.
She's the defining characteristic of PMS NBC.
Yeah. Well, the thing that she was reporting on was this. There was this family that took their daughter to a gun range, and she accidentally. I don't know what kind of gun they gave her. I think it was an automatic, and she ended up accidentally killing the instructor. And she was like, "Oh yeah, he kind of had it coming to her. Yeah, he had it coming because of what he, giving this gun to this girl." I'm like, "What the fuck is wrong with you, lady?"
Yeah.
It's like, and from then I was kind of hooked because I wanted to see what kind of lunatic she was, and it's just like, all right, whatever. And I eventually I got really annoyed, and I ended up watching something else, or I turned it off and did something different.
That's why you gotta bring movies with you when you travel.
No, I started, man, but this was like 6-7
years ago.
Yeah, it was like I had Hulu, so it was, I think I got Hulu after that trip.
I was already carrying a streaming box with me, like when I was traveling back then. So like I either carried a Roku or something like that with me because I wasn't gonna be stuck in a hotel with ridiculousness.
Yeah,
or in an airport. Good Lord, CNN pays every single major airport in the United States to broadcast their bullshit on TV. If you go to an airport and all they've got on everywhere is CNN, it's because they give them the TVs and they give them the feed and they regularly update it so that they can claim that they are on so many screens. So because they get to count those as households. So that's why you get CNN in every damn airport in this country.
Not only that, the different TVs that show,
Atlanta.
there's CNN US, then there's a CNN International, and then there's all those other ones. Yeah, it's all weird.
Yeah. So CNN is
the 24-hour cable news network is definitely a significant part to the destabilization of journalism, and then social media kind of doubled down on it a little bit too. And
by that time, because the 24-hour news network started when I was in high school, and obviously it started with the Iraq War.
Yep.
And so they had it on all the time, and yada yada yada.
Well, they were repeating the same hour of news every hour.
Yeah, it's like, they basically repeated the same shit over and over because there wasn't a whole lot going on. And honestly, what I think made CNN was the Columbine shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was on 24/7 with them talking about it. CNN headline news.
Which is nuts because my best friend's uncle worked for the cable networks that was co-financing CNN when they started. And CNN's original pitch was to have 30 minutes of news covering every country that they had correspondence in. So you would have the first 12 hours would be literally covering the entire world. And then the next 12 hours would be repeating that for the other people who are also connected into the CNN. And that was the model, but they never did that. They just stuck to their local stuff and then would repeat it for 24 hours. And apparently the people that were co-financing it through Ted Turner were really pissed off, and some of them pulled out. But Ted, being the guy that has unlimited money and a lot of land.
Well, and the other thing too, what really kind of got rolling was the Iraq War.
Yeah, that was really
they had something. That's what really changed it. And then the Columbine shooting and yeah.
Well, there was that. There was the Scud missile launches. That really messed up everything. There was the
OJ trial,
the
guys.
Oklahoma bombing and the OJ trial were huge.
That's right.
And Ted's a real piece of shit, just so you know.
Oh yeah,
that's a personal observation.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was so happy when Jane Fonda left him.
She's a real piece of shit too, by the way.
Yes, she is.
Yeah. Well, she's the best actor of the Fondas of her generation, but yeah, she's very much a product of the 60s ideology.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that was like the big thing. I remember my mom, she had the Jane Fonda workout tapes, and my grandfather was pissed about that because he was a military veteran. He fought in World War II. He was he was at Hawaii when it was attacked. So I mean, yeah, it's when there was photos of her in those Viet Cong anti-aircraft guns. It's kind of not cool, man.
I've never been a fan. I'm still not a fan. She's intolerable in everything I've seen her in, and even though she does a decent job against Lily Tomlin in the Netflix old people sex show that I always forget the name of.
What?
Yeah.
Well, Lily Tomlin is also a nightmare to work with too. I like Jane Fonda just for her earlier work. So like Barbarella, she plays it straight and it's absolutely hysterical. Of course, that's at the time when she wasn't really she was about free love and responsibility, and then I think after she married Ted, that's when she started going crazier because
screwed everything
you're living next to Ted. You're living with Ted Turner.
Her and Ted are actually holding, from what I understand, classes in their house about how to use leftist politics to get your name in the tabloids and to get movie roles.
I've heard of those stories. Yeah, I thought that was really weird.
That is.
Well, here's a question then. Considering Ted Turner and his politics, did Captain Planet actually change your mind on the environment, or did it just kind of?
Well, considering the fact that it had a lot of terrible advice in it, no.
It was awful, and you couldn't get me to watch it or any of my siblings.
I was a little too old for it, but Jesus.
Well, so was I. But
I mean, it was on. I watched it. It wasn't anything I particularly cared for. It didn't turn me into an eco warrior.
But
no, I mean their messages about saying like, oh, switch to compact fluorescent bulbs. I'm like, those only do 25% less consumption, and LED is kind of just right around the corner, and those do like literally 1/100th of power consumption. So those would be better for the environment, and they last longer. and then they also talked about like recycling paper, and it's like there's a lot of water and bleach that goes into recycling paper, and I don't think we should be wasting our water on that, especially considering the fact that we just plant more trees. And also paper products degrade a lot faster, so they're better. It's kind of better for the environment that we don't really recycle that type of stuff. But the old school of recycling glass and using less plastics, that's a little bit better. Yeah, I wish we got more glass bottles.
It all seemed very, very one-sided, right?
Yeah.
Industry is bad is kind of what I took away from Captain Planet.
And their drug episode was really ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't remember. I just remember that, all these industries that they're trying to represent, it's like, the fucking no nuance whatsoever. Just very kind of. It was like the one guy. I don't know if he was like the capitalist was a pig.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. And it's or the industrialist or something. It's just like
little on the nose. Yeah.
Yeah, a little on the nose there, buddy.
Yeah. Well, the only thing that kind of made it like, I guess, viable for villains is that these guys were intentionally trying to destroy stuff, as opposed to like actual capitalists where they're trying to do something cheap and then maybe they miss something. Because in most cases, especially for some of the people that I've had the privilege of meeting, is like they said, "Oh, we did this and we were really upset that we did this, so we tried to fix it as fast as possible because we did not intend for this accident to happen or this thing to go this way, because all it's going to do is be a bad image for our company and our product." Yeah, and you're like, "Oh wow, that's a nice change of attitude."
No company wakes up saying, "I want to dump millions of gallons of oil in the Gulf Coast." Yeah,
willfully.
Yeah, willfully. Yeah, I mean it's. Obviously, that shit happens. It's unfortunate, and it's like I say, even when one of my favorite movies from the '90s, Fern Gully, was, I guess looking back a little bit ham-fisted on stuff. It covered the whole thing with deforestation and whatnot, and yeah, deforestation obviously is an issue, right? I mean, it's something that we shouldn't necessarily be doing on such a massive scale. But slash and burn, Yeah, but you have to understand that the whole slash and burn farming has been around in South America since the fucking Maya.
Yeah.
Okay. And probably and longer than that. I mean, this is nothing new.
It's a rainforest.
Yeah. Well, and it has a lot to do with the ecology of the area, right? That's the only way that they're able to really kind of fertilize the soils by slashing and burning the rainforest to get that kind of nutrients to be able to grow crops.
Yep.
So like I said, it literally is nothing new. This is not because of industrialization.
No, and that's the other thing. I mean, if we managed our forestry a little better in this country, like we should be, like that we've been hearing from experts for decades, we wouldn't nearly have the extent of the wildfires that we have. We would still have them because lightning's still going to strike, but they would not be as devastating. They would not cover as much land mass, et cetera, et cetera. It's all because there are only certain parts of the country that responsibly manage their forests. California does a very poor job of managing their wild areas. Very poor.
Yeah, they've reappropriated whatever funds would go to that to some other garbage that I can't even tell you what it's for.
Well, actually, they're trying to fix their whole electrical problem because the PPG&E or whatever all the friggin' power companies in California are corrupt, and they let the lines go to shit. They didn't do any line maintenance for decades, and the infrastructure is falling apart. So they're constantly causing fires and all kinds of other problems in California.
Well, no, I've experienced several brownouts in LA whenever I visit, and it's like I'm glad I have portable battery packs that I use for my laptop and stuff, or else I'd never be able to get work done when I go down there.
Yeah, I keep sending Gary money hoping he'll move faster. It's not working.
Yeah. I like what Benjamin Clark has because it's like, dude, you're kind of right, man. It's like, Jordan Peterson suggests, how can you say the planet when
so many of us
can't even shoulder basic personal responsibility of our own living space? Yes. It's so true.
Well, yeah. Well, that just comes down to the mistakes of or the previous generation, or current generation, or subsequent generation, when they're not thinking as long term when it comes to the people who we vote into office, the policies that we want our members of parliament or our senators and mayors and representatives to enact, that we think could strengthen the generations as we go. I mean, I've witnessed the cuts of education right after, as soon as I left high school, because I had 4 godchildren at that time, and then they started going into school when I just finished wrapping up college, and I would see, and this would be like 2008, 2009, and I would see the type of stuff that they were learning, and it's like, well, these are social issues you're learning, and you should be learning more like English, math, basic sciences, history, art.
Well, it is interesting, and it just kind of jumped on me. 66 Miss Pixie brings up, in Australia, controlled burnings is required, happening for over 50,000 years. as native plants, renew and seed with a burn. Overpopulation is the issue for the environment. Yeah, it is. Yep. I mean, it's like I know people who were in Melbourne when those fires were going on. Yeah. It's crazy, and that's one of the biggest problems in California. It really is kind of a failure of the Forestry Service, because they're supposed to be clearing that underbrush that catches fire. And that's the reason why these forest fires break out, is because they're not doing anything. And this is nature's way of clearing that crap up.
It just so happens to also be very dangerous to our way of life.
Well, what it was that I believe in the 70s, or maybe it was the 80s, the environmentalist movement had this hard push about preserving forests, and they decided well, we shouldn't burn them, that's bad, and stopped it. And then I think they had all those horrible fires in the 80s that, oh, wait a minute, that kind of served a purpose.
Yeah, kind of
one-dimensional thinking, that's what it was.
At that point, the state said, but we don't really want to have to pay for this anymore. We've spent all this time not paying for it. Let's find excuses not to pay for it. And over again, what would happen was we'd get these fires. The state would promise to fix it. They would put a thing on the ballot. They tax us and then not do it.
Yep.
And
there's no accountability in place in the system to resolve that. That's the other part that's also terrible.
There. When you were talking about education, what state are you in?
Oh, I'm currently in Ontario, but the education that I've usually and that's where my godchildren are, and that's where it is. But when I do travel and I see friends and stuff in California or Washington, they say that some of the programs that their kids are going through are kind of garbage.
Well, the thing about California, again, because I used to live there, the thing about the education there that's kind of bullshit is the claim is, oh, we don't have any money. We don't have any money for education. 49% of the state budget goes to education.
Yeah.
And yet they can't even, it just, the whole thing's a mess.
Yeah, their infrastructure is crap. It's across a lot of places. In Ontario, there are teachers that come straight out of teachers to college without any actual real world experience and interaction with children. Yeah. And then they get thrown into high school. And so they're dealing with, so basically they're still living in the mentality of what high school was throughout their entire lives. And because they're not actual adults, they're still basically just grown up teenagers. And so you have basically grown up teenagers teaching teenagers, and it ends up becoming the snake eating its own tail, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
But every ballot we would get, they would claim, oh, we need money for education. Just give us the money for education, we'll fix it. And it would always go again to the teachers union and really cushy retirements and just really bullshit things.
Yeah. Real quick, I missed the thing. Not My Star Wars. Yeah. comicsdivision@gmail.com. All my contact info is actually on the channel page, the about page. PO box. I actually need to put the website on there at some point. But I mean, Comics Division is at gmail.com. You can reach me there. I think the other email address I have is pixelnationmedia@gmail.com. All that's on the website as well. So, yeah, not that difficult. Considering channel names and whatnot, we automatically have those email addresses, and I do check it pretty regularly. So,
yeah, what's that? You can get me. I even have my own website, and I think my link on my channel for business purposes. You just click on that. You send me an email to my own freaking web address. So yeah, I don't we all have that?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not YouTube. It's a Google account, right? Yeah, all this is done through Google, so you automatically get the email address. You get the you
get the Google Drive and all the apps that are associated with that.
Yeah, it's like there's their social media that didn't take off.
Yeah, they got rid of Google Plus last year.
Yeah, that was it. Google Plus. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. You have to give me time. There's somebody I still need to write back that wrote me last week. I'm like, I should get to this person.
I got that too. My email's been flooded.
Well, the funny thing is, I get flooded with notifications. That's mainly what I get is the stuff I've signed up for through Google notifications. So yeah, it's things can get buried pretty quickly. But anyway, do we still want to talk about this article?
Well, let's just say it happens when it happens, and we'll know in the new year. If it does happen, I will make a video about it because it'll mean that the Disney Lucasfilm would have purchased something I pitched them.
Yeah. Oh, and also consider this that the people that were part of the Lucasfilm crew filtered out into other elements of the Disney company. So they're going to have to do some sweeping up there too, which isn't any more evidence than what's going on with their continued push for the Galaxy's Edge land expansions in both theme parks, where they are now pushing merchandise in Target stores. I'm not kidding. There's Galaxy's Edge branded merch that's going into Targets. Not only that, they just, and this was something I covered today on another stream, but I thought, I was going to do a video on it. Now I'm not gonna, because it's going to get destroyed here. But the Sims, in The Sims 4, they are now having Galaxy's Edge. So you'll actually earn achievements and be able to dress up, as your favorite Star Wars thing and have some Star Wars adventures and stuff like that. So
they kind of already had that through mods, but
this is like a legit expansion. So Sims 4. So
I can do a moisture farm in Sims 4 now.
I have no idea. Like I said, I'm not going to buy it. This is for other people. This, as Brie Larson would say, this is not for me.
It's not for you, Culture Casino.
It isn't.
Because you're a straight white male.
No, I actually just want to shoot things. Give me a game where I can shoot stuff. If I can slice stuff off with a sword, that is a suitable replacement for shooting things. If I can stab you in the back in a stealthy way, sign me up.
I think there's an alpha protocol for Xbox 360 that allows you to do both of those things.
So the Sims with stealth kills is what you want.
Yes, if you could do that, I'd be on board. It'd be awesome.
I haven't kept up with The Sims. I have no idea what's been going on with that game.
Yeah, likewise.
It would be cool if you could make an entire Sims neighborhood, and after you've developed it, get like a additional thing where you could then let loose like a Jason Voorhees in the neighborhood or something.
Oh, I think there used to be a mod for that for the Sim Cities.
Yeah.
You just let him loose.
Well, yeah, you could unleash disasters in Sim City.
Yeah.
Well, that was like one of the things you could do. I don't know, man. That's
I can help you segue to another topic with this because I've actually just I found my old SimCities 4 Deluxe CD, and then I found an old file on my computer because I was stuck on a train years ago from a power outage, and so I had battery on my laptop, so I decided to make the land masses for Gotham City on SimCity 4. And so I found the file and I posted a picture of it on my Twitter. And I'm thinking sometime when things get more settled, I'll start doing a live stream where I and the people watching will help build a SimCity 4 version of Gotham City, because I've got all the 5 islands and the boroughs and all that stuff set up.
Pretty neat.
And I think it'd be kind of fun, and because I've never seen those types of things go and be like an hour a day type of thing. And speaking of Gotham City, there's some Batman news.
The thing I kind of miss was like the machinima that people would do with Sims.
Oh yeah.
That was really cool, man. And, people got pretty freaking creative.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I knew how to make mods for the Sims, I would totally do some mods. Like I'd make a GCPD with a bat signal thing that turns on every night. That type of stuff.
Yeah, I murdered a lot of Sims in Sims 3 for fun. I like making ghosts. Good time. I had like a little bunch of tombstones that were lined up in a basement, because when I got tired of a character, I would just walk them down there and then get rid of the door.
Yeah,
fantastic.
And have them die. Dark Side Droids for $5 support for the channel. Thank you, sir. Yeah, there was all sorts of mods that you could get for The Sims, none of which I'll admit to.
Wow, chicka wow wow.
Yeah.
See, I've never gone beyond Sims 2, I think it was. Just building a house and then making money by making tons of lawn gnomes.
I had Sims 3. I think I even bought some of the expansions, and I just stopped playing. It's one of those games, man. It's a fucking time sink, It's like you can lose your life to these type of things.
You lose your life pretending to have an artificial life. It's just
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think about how many hours you dumped into like Civilization 3, 4, or 5, and they're gone. Those hours are gone. I have 2,100 hours in Civilization 5 or 4, I think. Yeah, it's nuts. That was the worst thing ever, as when Steam decided to, show you how many hours you spent in a game.
My God, that's 20% of you being an expert at something.
That's close. Yeah, I could be an expert.
If I thought about like streaming something, like me playing SimCity, yeah, that might be worth some while. That might be worthwhile or something like that. I don't know.
Maybe.
So Nikki D is asking, is Brie Larson a good actress? Outside of Room and 21 Jump Street, her performances are largely unremarkable. I don't even remember her in 21 Jump Street. I've never seen The Room.
The Room, the kid it's all told through the kid's eyes, so he's the one that's holding that movie.
Yeah.
21 Jump Street, she's the blonde girl that Jonah Hill falls in love with, and they completely ignore the fact that he's like 10 years older than her, so it's really creepy because she's only 17 and he's 27.
Does anyone remember?
Yeah.
Does anyone remember what?
Well, she was in King Kong. Nobody seems to remember that.
I forgot about you, man. I find her to be rather forgettable.
Yeah,
it's like I know she's in movies, and I don't remember her. I legitimately, I'm not doing this to be an asshole. Because
of this, because of what she's largely unremarkable. I mean, other than her performance in Scott Pilgrim, which is the only thing I'd ever remembered her being. I
don't even remember her in that either, man.
She wears some Brandon Routh's boyfriend or something.
Yeah, Envy Adams. Yeah, she plays Envy. And gosh, okay, yeah.
Don't remember.
Well, one thing that it kind of shows is that, especially with her YouTube channel recently, is that an actor that doesn't have a personality of their own doesn't really have much to work with to create a stage presence in film. So if they can't create a presence, they can't be memorable, and if they can't be memorable, well, you wonder why they're still acting.
The most recent thing I saw her was in King Kong, and it's like I know that she was a photographer, and that was it. I don't remember, much about that movie.
Yeah.
I know that Samuel Jackson is in it, and that's really about it.
Yeah, but okay. So Mostly Safe just said that she's like a blank slate, Captain Plank. I get all of that, but to me, she's like an Etch-a-Sketch because you shake it and I forget she was in whatever it was. So I mean, she is the Etch-a-Sketch of acting because you don't. She does. You're right. That Nikki D's right on point. I mean, she's not. It's not memorable performances. You don't remember she was in something. Captain Marvel's only memorable because of how god awful it was and how many people said it wasn't god awful.
Yeah. But even then, it's fading fast. There's like certain things I remember about the movie, and it's just like it's not worth remembering. Is what it comes down to.
More people remember the cutscene of the Dawn than they do the actual film.
Yeah.
That scene wasn't in the movie, but like a lot of people talk about it and remember it. It's like,
well, there's certain things I can't forget about the movie, like Nick Fury getting his fucking eye scratched out by a goddamn cat.
So irritating.
Yeah, that was unnecessary. They didn't even need him to lose his eye in that movie at all. Like, no point.
Didn't. That pissed me off.
They wasted Clark Gregg.
Yes,
who's been acting for like 30 years and is only now in the last like 15 started getting some recognition, even though it's like for the one role. But like he was in a comedy with Julia Louis-Dreyfus and nobody knew about that. Like a comedy.
He was really good. He's been a great actor, but he never freaking ages. The guy has looked the same for I don't know, like 20 years. I don't know how you do that. Adrenochrome?
Botox? I don't know. Plastic surgery?
I don't know.
Adrenochrome?
I don't know. My girlfriend's dad thinks I'm 21 and I'm 35. And I don't do any drugs or anything like that. He's like, you're not old enough to date my daughter. I was like, I'm older than your daughter by 3 years, sir.
But seriously, It's like, I don't know. Maybe it's the blood of young children. That seems to be the theory these days. So... Toxic Man Flu for $5. Brie Larson is like a one-night stand with a 7 out of 10. You know it happened, but nothing really stands out.
Oh, you guys are on fire tonight.
Oh, it's like there's this.
Did I even
there's
have an orgasm?
No, there's
I don't
a
remember.
female comedian. I don't know if she's still doing stand up anymore because she would be like 60 by now. But her joke when she was in her 30s is she'd come out on stage and she's like this gorgeous blonde woman, and she would open up and she would say something like, "A lot of you guys are looking at me and thinking, did I do her?" And her punchline would be, "Half of you would be right."
Oh God,
that's good comedy.
That's I can't remember her name for the life of me, but I met her a couple of times before. She's really funny. She did have a TV show with another comedic character actor. But yeah, like she was really good. Like that. I remember that joke, and I've only ever heard her say it like twice at her shows because she doesn't always use it unless she's doing a really, really big crowd, because she's like, the bigger the crowd, the funnier it is.
Well, the funny thing, what annoys me about, I guess, modern female comedians is that a lot of them, it's like they're spouting feminist talking points and trying to be funny about it, and it's like it's not funny.
So Eliza Schlesinger, or however you say her name, she was really, really funny until 2 specials ago when she went totally woke. She was really, really good. She was really funny.
Yeah, Soul Assassin brings up Whitney Cummings. She was pretty funny. You know, of course, she was woke as well.
She had her comedy show, Whitney, if they'd have given it one more season, or there were streaming services available at the time. Yeah, and that had the guy that they don't like anymore, Chris D'Elia.
Oh, the creepy guy. Yeah.
Well, why don't they like him anymore?
Because apparently he's creepy. I don't know. I mean, this is the problem. You can label somebody as creepy in Hollywood and they have nothing to show for it, and that he's creepy. But you can be Roman Polanski in Hollywood, and they want you to they want to give you awards every few years for your films. Just saying.
Well,
yeah.
True.
Oh no, he's spot on. You know, that's the thing that's so funny about it. I think that's. And sorry, folks, I'm going to get political for a second. I think that's part of the reason why they're running scared for, Trump's second term, because I think he's going to blow the lid off the whole pedophile thing.
Yeah, I do too.
Oh yeah,
I think that's the reason why Tom Hanks is in Greece now.
Yep, and you notice how quickly the people who were implicated in some of the stuff are not going to be living in this country very soon, or are already gone because they're leaving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for reasons.
Hey, you know what? Our house, this 6-bedroom house in in North Hills, North Hollywood, isn't big enough. This house isn't big enough. This estate that we live on, not big enough. We're having one more child, so we need to go. I'm not going to tell you who that is, but that's happening. So, well,
there's a lot of that too. And people are fleeing California for good reasons. Yeah. And I'm sure I'm sure some of it has to do with the, Fredo Island.
I'm sure the ones that go to Texas aren't fleeing that.
Yeah. I think that, the ones that are actually trying to get the fuck out of California is because, California is becoming a fucking cesspool. Yeah.
You are not allowed to vote in local elections if you come to my state. Because I'll stand there and find out.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. This is the thing. A lot of Californians need to understand, myself included, because I am from California. Don't bring your fucking politics with you. This is what ruined your state to begin with. Don't vote Democrat. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Sorry.
No. Look. I haven't had anybody in script knows this because we've talked about it before, and I think you and I have talked about it before too, comics. But I haven't had anybody to vote for in years and years and years and years. Yeah. And because my political party doesn't exist in a large enough form to do anything because I'm libertarian. So
I am as well.
Yeah. So I'm always stuck with what's the least of the evils that are presented to me, which is a horrible position to be in, but it's the one that I'm just stuck with. And it has not been Democrat for a while.
Well, here's the thing, man. I'm a libertarian. Typically in every election, I typically vote libertarian. This time, I'm voting a straight Republican ticket. I hate this. I really do. I feel like I've been pushed in this position. I've never voted any straight party. I always did.
Pushed into it.
Yeah, I always try and do research and vote for the person I think is best for the job, whether it be a Republican, Democrat, or libertarian. But now I'm like, fuck, R all the way, baby.
There are two things I can't do that on there because there are two positions that I can actually vote for that don't make a difference where I am. But pretty much, yeah, I'm stuck. Just like what you're saying. It sucks.
Well, like I said, I honestly, I had no intention for voting for Trump until this year happened.
Yeah. God, dude, here's the thing. This is how messed up the world is. Do you realize Bernie was a viable candidate for me in the first,
4 years ago?
He fucking sold out.
Yeah.
Uncle Bernie became a millionaire, and now he doesn't talk about the millionaires anymore. He just talks about the billionaires.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing: a lot of his trade policies and Trump's trade policies were exactly the same. They wanted to get us out of badly negotiated trade treaties, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, you guys sound the same.
This is the thing that makes me laugh. Okay,
they say huge the same way too.
Donald Trump is a New York Democrat. That's something that made me laugh since the very beginning when he got elected as a Republican. It's like, you guys just are elected a Democrat as president.
Mm-hmm. And you don't know it.
and you don't know it. The other thing too that I thought was really funny is the fact that, all the things that the Democrats were for, he was for. And now that he's for them or he brings them up, they're automatically against it. Yeah.
Well, they're trying to pull the same thing that the media was reporting for the 8 years with Obama, that the Republicans were blocking everything Obama and his administration were pulling. And they're kind of forgetting the fact that there was this thing called the Blue Dog Democrats that didn't like Obama for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
This is very important here. This is something that 13th Warrior brought up. Dems won't even say rioting, looting, and destruction is bad.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That is the final fucking straw. I think that's a little.
And that's why they're not really Democrats anymore. Like, that's the thing.
No.
They're a name only. Like they're not standing up for any values.
They've spent the better part of 16 to 18 years cutting out the centrists. And to a large extent, up until 2 election cycles ago, the Republicans had been doing the same thing. Now you have a lot more middle of the road Republicans than you probably have had ever. And you have, which is, a byproduct of Trump, by the way, but even before Trump, but at the same time, you have only extremists left for the most part. And so they're not going to say that burn, loot, murder. I've had one beer. They're not going to say that that this is a bad thing, which blows my mind. They're not going to say that these Marxists that are truly, the next generation of fascism in this country that also go by the name Antifa, are bad. They're going to stand behind these idiots while they tear up the country, and that's not a form of leadership. That's support of crime and destruction, and they should be called out for that. Anyway.
Miguel is correct. Trump became a Republican because the Democrats went too far left. That's the crazy thing, man. There's the guy that started the Walk Away campaign was a gay Democrat. And he was like all freaked out and pissed off when Trump got elected, and he started looking into some of the things and find out that the media was lying about him. And that's what kind of like got him to cross the aisle. It's like he realized that the party has abandoned him, and it sucks. It fucking sucks. Anyway.
Well, and here's the thing: in this country, if you talk to anybody on the street, for the most part, unless you go to one of these wackaloon places where they're going bananas, we agree on far more than we disagree on in this country. We always have. There's a few issues that we can't find common ground on, and it'll always be that way. But
thank you.
That's okay.
Clobber Times brings up his name is Brennan Sirach. He was actually interviewed by Tim Pool recently.
Okay. Yeah. And it's, but the point being is so if we as Americans agree on so much, how do we have this level of catastrophic destruction that we have right now?
This is
when the parties become solely a collection of limited talking points as opposed to it actually like a larger spectrum of issues.
Well, that's true. But I mean, but it's this tiny little group of people, and I know it doesn't seem like it because you see these large numbers of these idiots misbehaving, but you know, they don't represent a very large portion of our population. So why are we allowing them? And this is a thought experiment. This is not a legitimate question.
It's because it only takes 10%, man. It only takes 10% of the population to change something.
Well, yeah, I'm going to change them.
To topple a system, to, you know, gain control. You know, and look at, we've talked about this, guys. We talked about the whole thing with Robin DiAngelo and how her book, because of what happened with George Floyd, suddenly became a best-selling book overnight, and it's now being introduced into HR departments. It's because of this dangerous ideology that has been introduced. And now new evidence is
showing how that's countered, of course.
Yeah. All the evidence for that with the fentanyl and everything. But this is the thing: every single one of these people that they're getting all hyped up, ginned up about in these riots, this mass destruction that's being caused. These are criminals that they're supporting. These are criminals that were doing criminal acts at the time that they're supporting, that were resisting arrest, that were acting out in a way that anybody would have been shot. It doesn't matter what color they are, but they don't care. So anyway, it is what it is.
I mean, there's lots of criticism. I can level up what happened with George Floyd. I mean, they honestly should have got an ambulance there, you know, quick
right away.
Yeah,
8 minutes is enough time for an ambulance to show up in that area, if I'm not mistaken.
And I love it too. It comes down to dealing with training. I think that one of the reasons why a lot of people who are mentally ill end up getting shot by the cops is because they don't know how to deal with it. You know, I mean, there's like this one video I saw with this one black guy. He had a knife. He was mentally ill, and you know, he wasn't following commands, and they gunned him down. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that they just didn't know how to deal with it, I think. And I don't know if this was before tasers or whatnot, but it's like, and the guy did pose a valid threat. He had a knife and he was swinging around at him. So it's like, you know, what do you do in that circumstance? It's kind of
look. They did everything they did with this Blake dude. They even tased his butt. Didn't work. He wrestled his way out of the arms of those cops more than once. You know, and then he's headed for his vehicle to get a weapon. I mean, you know, when you do not have, you know, a whole lot of time to make a decision that is either it becomes it's your life or mine situation. You know, and you know, there is no. I know that there are some departments where there's a limit. You fire 3 times and assess, but there are some departments where you fire until the threat ceases.
Yeah.
And so, you know,
well, that's the thing they don't understand, right? Is the whole thing is like, well, I think 7 times was overkill. You know, it was too many times. It's like, yeah, but you're right. That's the thing they don't understand is the training is to eliminate the threat. It's not to kill. No. That's the big thing that they need to understand. It's not to kill. No. It's to eliminate the threat, to stop the threat.
We actually had a situation like that in Canada a few years ago where a cop boarded a streetcar, I believe, because there was a mentally unstable person, young boy, who had a knife, scared everybody off the car. He was also on drugs. The cop shot him when the kid approached him. And then when the kid fell on the ground, the cop shot him again. And that was the very thing that was the point of contention. He sent 2 volleys into the kid. And he was charged with 2nd-degree murder because the cop didn't need to do that. It basically is like, how can you be charged with 2nd-degree murder after you kill a guy? It's like, well, because he kept on shooting again. He intended to. It usurps his initial plan of just stopping power of him. And and he went to jail, and I think he's actually up for parole recently because there's more information that's being released. But I would also say that type of situation, where a cop has to send a 2nd volley after the threat's already neutralized, that's when you have to raise your eyebrows more and do more investigation. But my understanding for this story is the guy shot 7 times consecutively, and then stopped, and then that's when they started to do the rest of what they had to do. It's not like he was just doing like a revenge thing or any sort of malicious part. It was like, let's take him down and then go from there, because what other things could have happened had he gotten to his car, maybe gotten a weapon, or maybe gotten to his car and then drove away, and then before you're in a high-speed pursuit, in which case what happens if he loses control of his vehicle and crashes it? He could hit someone else.
Yeah.
Yep.
And as Eric K has brought up, and which is very true, if someone's on PCP or smoking bath salts, it will take 7 shots to stop the threat. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. I mean, that's. But I mean, there are instances too where there's this one guy. He was a mental health professional, and there was like some sort of incident with the I think it was a kid that he was with, and he had his hands up, and the cops shot him. Still, he was like on the ground.
Is that the one in Florida where he shot him in the leg?
Yeah,
I remember that.
It's like, what the fuck, dude?
And the cop said, "I don't know why I did that."
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said. There's obviously shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's a clear-cut case of, that was clearly wrong. I mean, but there, like I said, but when it comes to, a situation where there's an imminent threat, good gracious, I've had one beer, an imminent threat to yourself as the officer or to the public.
No,
you have to remember,
aluminium.
These are aluminium. But you have to make a decision based on, am I protecting the public? Because that's part of their thing. This one person, the cop is responsible for everybody. So, at that point in time, there has to be, he's making an assessment, just like Script was saying, if the guy gets in his car and crashes into somebody else and kills him, the cop's ultimately responsible for that death because he didn't stop the situation in the first place. Even though the person...
You see on the computer that he's had multiple offenses for violence.
Yeah.
They were being sent out because of domestic violence. I mean...
Yeah, and the dispatcher is telling them that this is going to be this will be difficult because this person has a record and is an open warrant. Sorry.
So they have to bring him in anyway.
Thing really pissed me off. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was also
Well, here's the thing. Sorry, Ishi, go ahead. Let me let you finish.
Just kind of the indicator of how much this isn't about what's shootings and police is, we recently had the riots going on because, we had the footage of the guy shooting himself. And they were claiming the cops shot him.
Which one was this? No, I haven't.
Back in Minneapolis, right?
Yeah.
Back in Minneapolis again? Yeah. The cops were approaching the guy who took his own life outside of a store. There's video of this.
And the cops?
What now?
I said, and they're blaming the cops?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. They were blaming the cops, even though the guy clearly took his own life. So they released the video right away, and they still destroyed the downtown shopping area, fancy area. They tore up a Saks Fifth Avenue and everything else.
Well, here's the thing that's crazy. I mean, when is a cop? When is it going to be considered to be justified that he pulls the trigger on a black man? I mean, does there need to be like 3 dead cops next to him? Are they still going to write it at that? And like I said, it's like I don't want people to die. That's the thing. I think everyone knows that. Unfortunately, there's situations where someone is going to have to pull the trigger in a situation, and there are justifiable situations. And the main thing I would tell anybody: just fucking listen to the police. And yes, there has been instances where they have been, people have been shot, obeying orders, because it's happened to not just black people, it's happened to white people too. There's that guy in that Vegas hotel who was shot dead by SWAT.
Yep.
And he was following their orders, which I found to be unreasonable. They told him to crawl on his hands and knees over to them. His pants started going down, and
they reached to pull him up, and
they shot him because they thought he was going for a weapon. They should have said, lay on the ground, don't move, put your hands on your head,
Yeah.
And that wouldn't have happened. There's plenty of situations where this shit, should not happen.
Well, I was going to say what's creepy about the incident about the guy who shot himself is you can see very clearly on the video, he runs into a corner, he lifts up a revolver, he puts it in his mouth and goes down. And instantly the crowd, there's like 4 or 5 black women around him, like nearby. They all scream at the cops. They all scream at the cops, "Why'd you shoot him?"
Do they even have their weapons out?
What's that?
Did they even have their weapons out?
I don't know.
That's weird. But it's my cousin. It's so weird, man. My cousin, her husband is a retired Milwaukee police officer. They moved here to Texas, and I was texting her. I was like, "So Milwaukee's on fire. Are you glad that you're out of there?" She's like, "Yes." It's like it's crazy. And it's a good thing that he freaking retired. He doesn't have to worry about dealing with this crap.
Yeah, but the thing is, you're looking at these people, and they're finding as many excuses as they can to justify their own actions. And even though their actions are completely unjustifiable, they're unstable enough logically to commit to doing these acts of violence because they want to be in the right. They want to contribute to something. They're coming up with their own form of oppression or injustice to give them an excuse to commit harm to other people for what? Like as a means to express and vent out whatever anger is actually causing their lives to be horrible. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. It just seems kind of crazy because what is it now? Like, is it officially 100 days of rioting within the United States?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've lost count at this point. I know that it was like 80 last time I counted. It's probably over that.
Wouldn't it be easier just to take these people on a trip to a place where there's actual oppression? Wouldn't be hard.
Yeah,
but
I
honestly think
100 days of rioting and nothing changed. So you're basically enacting the definition of insanity. Like if you've rioted for 100 days and nothing's changed, you need to start changing what you're doing in order to get real action. Where is there compassion in destroying property to help, change the world for the better?
Well, as you saw what Sean King was writing, right? He was saying that we even need to the riots needed to continue because clearly peace and talking didn't work.
You mean fake black guy?
Fake black guy.
Yeah, fake black guy.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing, man, that they don't get. That rioting, they take it to the suburbs. It's gonna get messy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna die.
Yeah. And I don't want them to. I want this. I want cooler heads to prevail. But burning down my fucking house, man. Hands down. You're not burning this fucking place down.
No. You show up outside. Hell, I mean, all of my neighbors are strapped. You show up in our little neighborhood. You're in for a world of hurt.
Yeah, my next door neighbor, he is military. There's a guy across the street who is like former CIA. Next to them is a lady and her daughter, and her granddaughter. So and she's I know she has guns. So
okay, so what happens when they come into the suburbs and there are plenty of 17-year-olds who end up shooting some of these people?
Well, I didn't see anything. Can't help you.
I don't know. I mean, I like I said, I hope to God none of this shit happens. But you see it happening in Portland. Did you guys see the guy who got kicked in the head?
Oh Jesus!
Yeah. They caused him to crash his van. He was trying to protect a trans woman, and they were trying to say that he was running people over. Or trying to run people over. No. And the first thing I would have done if I was him, I would have got my back against that van. That way you can see anything coming. And they're trying to force him to stay on the ground. It's like, no, I'm going right over here. I'm not going to move. You stay back. Yeah, this shit's insane, man. It's like these people that are in these situations, they have to look out for themselves. Someone tells you to sit down, don't sit down, stand.
Yeah.
Don't let these people get their hand on you.
You notice that all of these people are criminals that are committing these acts, and then at the same, during these, mostly peaceful burnings and assaults. Yeah,
these mostly peaceful.
Why aren't the prison companies getting in on this? Like all these criminals riding on the streets, they should be really excited.
Because you have these crazy DAs that are not prosecuting these people that are letting them out. It's a revolving damn door. These people need to go away.
Here's the thing.
They need to get reformed, that's for sure.
My
And
God.
not like re-education, but they need to get properly reformed and exercised out of the things that are causing them to do this behavior. Like,
this is what is pissing me off. Like I said, I don't know. I don't remember what channel The View is on, but I happen to be walking down and they're talking about, I can't believe that, I don't remember the lady, but she's talking about, I can't believe how,
Joy Behar?
Trump, no, it wasn't Joy Behar, but she's like, I can't believe how, Trump deployed federal police to protect a courthouse from graffiti. It's like, you stupid bitch. It's not graffiti.
And she's a liar.
It's a fucking lie. It's like you.
Wait,
you
do the
are
United States have federal police? I mean, I know they have like National Guard and private security, but
the federal police would be like the FBI, the
because those are investigating.
Homeland Security. Homeland Security is federal police.
Yeah, Homeland Security said today that Antifa and BLM rise to the level of domestic terrorist groups.
Yeah,
as far as the definition.
Yeah, ABC. Yeah, that's right. It's Disney owned. But yeah, she was saying it's like they were trying to burn the fucking building down, not spray paint it. It's like fucking liar.
Yeah, I'm tired of it.
That made me so pissed. But this is the reason why people believe that it's nothing but peaceful protest, because of the lies that they're spreading.
Yeah, but except that if you pay any attention, if you look at any video of anything anywhere on any social media platform right now, or even YouTube, you can see direct contrary evidence that the mainstream media is lying to you. In this country, I mean, the UK is not quite as bad, but they only have a 28% belief that the news media tells them the truth. Their trust in media is 28%. That they're being told the correct narrative.
Information,
yeah, exactly, yeah. So in this country, it's lower than that.
People, be skeptical. Do your own research.
Do your own research.
Don't listen. Don't just blanketly believe what I say. Yeah, do your own research. Don't listen to that jackass from NASA said. You don't need to research. Just to believe the professionals. No, that makes you a fucking sheep.
Yeah, when you do your research, learn who the author of the article is or the report is, find out their sources, verify who's paying for it. Like, that's actual research, not just reading the one article on your own. That's what everybody else does in forming their own opinion.
Yeah.
You got to dig
You need to read multiple sources.
Effort.
You need to see it from the left side and the right side as well.
Yeah, and when you find out that George Soros is involved, you can start to take some leaps.
Always seems to come back to him, doesn't it?
Dude's evil, man.
Yeah.
His public statements are evil. Anyway, someday I'm going to do a video on that when I decide that, maybe if I get monetized someday, I'll find a way to get demonetized right away. Do a video like that.
Dude, how far are you, man? How far away are you?
You know what? I had that little hiccup that you get when you have a dramatic rise, and I went down. So I just topped 750, and it slid down just a little bit. But you build every day. I'm excited. I think I'm going to hit my goal by the end of the year. I'll be there. So I'm good.
Yeah,
cool.
This is part of the reason why I did the website, is to make sure that it's like, if you enjoy the content, you watch the videos, you like the live streams. Check the website. That way you make sure that you don't miss the videos. If you get unsubscribed, that you know why. I mean, there's certain things I don't get notifications for. I haven't received a YouTube notification, I want to say, in 2 weeks.
Wow.
That's weird.
I didn't.
A single one. Doesn't matter the channel. I haven't gotten anything from Gary. I haven't gotten anything from Tim Pool. I haven't gotten anything from Shoe on Head or Armored Skeptic or like all the other ones I used to get stuff from.
Well, I get my notifications all the time, but I changed web browsers. So I'm not, like I was talking to you about this a month or so ago. I got rid of Google Chrome, and now I'm on a different web browser. And I haven't even done anything to my YouTube account, but I get notifications for every single one of the 200 people I'm subscribed to.
That's odd, because and it goes in cycles. Like I won't get anything from any of the Mead channels for a couple of weeks, or I had a week. No, I had well, maybe it was longer than that, where I didn't get anything from Gary or from you or from Doomcock and I follow a ton of people, and I was getting like the little channels that I follow, and that's not a thing. But my friends that have smaller channels like me, I was getting some of those, but it was nuts. I do not know what's going on, and I was unsubbed. I was unsubbed from 3 channels that I think I've subbed to like 3 or 4 times now. So I was unsubbed from you. I told you that. You 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Tell me that.
Yeah, I'm like, I do not know what happened. I did.
Well, here's the weird thing too. It's like, Doomcock finally followed me on Twitter, and I went to go check it out, and it says I wasn't following him. I was like, I followed Doomcock like over 2-3 years at this point.
Yeah, a couple of years. Yeah.
Yeah. It had. I mean, ever since I did that stream with him on Gary's channel. So it's like, what the fuck happened there? It's like, I've been following this dude for a long time. So
I don't know.
No. It's kind of weird. So let's see. What do we got here? It says that YouTube stopped emailing notifications August 13th for the whole site. Although for some reason I got yours today in an email. That's who knows. Normally I get an email saying that we've gone live. I probably got it, but let me check just in case.
Yeah, August is always brutal from what everybody says, because Gary said that.
Yeah,
because I'm responding to the chat.
I did get it.
But, yeah, but other people have been talking about it. August is always that month where it's just weird, where the numbers go down for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's the end of the third quarter, so.
Yeah,
and this is so true, Miss Pixie. YouTube has changed the algorithm. Must be the election coming. Must be an election coming. Yes, it is certainly. I don't know. Could it be? Could it be the election? Nah, it couldn't be. Pretty sure it is.
It'll be a very interesting winter, that's for sure.
Jesus.
Look, there could be some changes on the horizon. I mean, for as much as I'm really not a huge fan of Epic Games, I mean, if you start to see other companies bringing up these antitrust suits for various reasons against these large entities like Google and Apple, you're going to see some tech dominoes fall, because they're gonna get split up into much smaller pieces. Well, they should be.
That's the thing I hope what happens with Trump, because I know that there's probably things that he was not able to address this term because he has to get elected, and you know that big tech is already scrambling to suppress the guy and make sure he doesn't get elected. But I think if he does get elected, he will go after big tech this time.
I hope so. Yeah, well, he's going to go after them, and he's going to go after them, and he's going to expose the thing we talked about earlier, which I'm not going to say the word, but all the Fredos are going to be really unhappy.
Yeah,
there's that. Plus, he's probably going to cash in on the stolen IPs that China has taken for the last 25 years that we know about.
Yeah,
because that will actually do a one hell of a number on the bigger entities, but it might cause some innovation on our end that would be very beneficial to us. So I'm hoping for the innovation part.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I keep cutting you off.
Sorry.
Crazy Cat Guy for $5. Enjoy the stream. Have a coffee on me. Thank you very much, sir. Keep jumping the gun. I keep thinking you're finishing, and then I'm like, trampling all over.
No, but script is right, and it's 100%, because whenever you get a monopoly, there's less competition, you get less innovation. And
not only that, they've been crushing any competition that has tried to come their way. Remember VidMe?
Yeah. Remember Blip?
Yeah.
Blip was the alternative to YouTube. They were awesome, but for some reason they just weren't able to. They did. They had actually a really good monetization program in there. A lot of indie filmmakers I knew were putting up their stuff there, and they were making $100 a week on like 1,000 views of their channel, which was great. But then I guess there's some sort of financial issues, or they couldn't afford all the servers that they needed to maintain the content, and they had to go away, which was unfortunate, because that's where I saw and found Red Letter Media on Blip. And they didn't have any. They didn't have any video time restrictions or anything like that. So they were really.
Wow, they defunct back in 2015. I thought they were still going.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm surprised Vimeo's still around. But yeah, I mean, 3 months after I started my channel, VidMe disappeared. They essentially, in so many words, said that they were crushed by YouTube. Like Silicon Valley basically crushed them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and here's the thing, and this is one of those, we're at a point in time where there are a couple of companies that are trying to come up and compete with YouTube, and I know there's BitChute and some others, but Spotify wants this space. They want this space. I mean, Joe Rogan is only the first swing at this space. You're going to see more. Their plan to roll out network-wide video support is in full swing. So because they already have the pipe leased, and they already are getting additional server farms. So you'll see it.
They are probably the only ones right now that could probably compete because they have an existing streaming service.
Yeah. They have another stream of revenue to supplement the new investment. Yeah.
And all it requires on their side is a large scale up, and that's what they're doing. So it's on its way. I don't know. BitChute, they were really close last month to getting where they needed to be. Like, I guess that goal thing's got to be profitability, right? I mean, I've never paid a whole lot of attention
It's actually
to that.
not about profitability. It's about them being able to support the platform more. And I've covered this several times. I talked about it with my last BitChute movie. Okay. BitChute video where I talked about what happened with Twitter blocking their links. But when I first started with them, they were at 13% funding. Yeah. And on the site, it lists what they will do with the money. Hiring additional developers, the last thing is finally the executives get paid. Because they've been sinking money into it. But it's, additional support, additional development, additional infrastructure. So yeah, I mean, they're getting there. I haven't I put so many videos up recently. I need to get them on BitChute. Which I've been I
started with them. I'm a little hesitant because it was they were getting there. They were getting close to 80 or right in there last month, I think, even. So yeah. Yeah,
they're at $23,000 a month. Their goal is $30,000 a month.
Yeah. Which isn't that much money.
No, it's not.
That's not a lot. They're able to do what they're doing at $30K a month. That's impressive.
Yeah. It's very impressive, actually. I need to see if YouTube actually, or I need to see if they actually pulled my videos over or not.
So pipe lease is not cheap, and server farm space is not cheap. Although they may be doing a co-location. But it depends on whether I don't know much about their infrastructure. I'd have to look it up. But
I don't either. But yeah, honestly, the most expensive thing is bandwidth.
Yeah.
Pipe lease.
Yeah. It is very expensive. But the funny thing I can tell you about the hosting space is that most of the people who run data centers are realtors.
Yeah.
It's like, you ever hear Rackspace? I never worked there, by the way. But I know a lot about them because I have friends that have worked there. Graham Weston is a real estate guy. So, yeah.
They do similar to what McDonald's does, don't they?
What do you mean?
With regards to property, with regards to physical property, they do the same thing with bandwidth and server property, don't they? Is that not what I've heard? Yeah.
Yeah, probably. It's the same thing for my local movie theater chain, Santikos. It's owned by a guy who's who's in real estate, so he owns everything. So those theaters, I don't think will be closing down anytime soon. Yes, John Willis, Rackspace is in San Antonio. And Austin.
I did a lot of business with Level 3 and a few others back when I was running Knox. So,
yeah, I have a friend. Well, sorry, what was that?
I'm kind of wearing down, guys.
I think we'll call it quits. So we never quite got to John Ridley and the whole thing with Black Batman.
Stanley did it. He's just copying Stanley.
Yeah.
But Ishii, if you got a bail, man, go ahead and plug your channel.
All right. Shiro Finney, you can find me at my name here on YouTube. I do a number of shows with my lovely wife, Kat. And we have started up Adventures in Awful once again. This time we're doing live readings of Marvel, DC, and Star Wars books that are awful. And you can put your cat in berserk on them. Also, you can get my graphic novels on Amazon.com. The ones I would recommend are Case File Arkham 1 and 2, which are film noir style Lovecraftian tales, detective noir, with, if you like stories where men are men, women are gorgeous, and hell beasts from the abyss do not come with a trigger warning, it's the book for you. All right.
That's awesome.
Hey, well, you guys have a good night, and I will see you next week.
All right, man. You take care. Get some sleep, and we'll talk later.
Cool. Take
Yeah,
care.
great talking with you, Ishi.
Laters, dude. But yeah. Yeah, hang on. Let's just talk about this real quick. Did you guys pay attention to DC fandom?
No.
I really paid attention to the first day. And then I looked at the giant list of, CNN presentation and, the diversity and this, that, and the other thing, and I tapped out.
Yeah. So I ended up watching the video that they had here. It's like a 15-minute panel where they introduced the new Batwoman, and it's really funny because they all said the same thing, which was about I never looked at Batman as being a white guy. I always looked at him as being Batman. That way I could project myself. All the things that we've said as fans, right?
Yeah.
The reason why they wear masks is so people can project themselves into those characters. But of course, all that gets thrown out the window. It's like, yeah, we're gonna make a black Batman now. It's like, clearly it didn't matter then. So why does it matter now? The thing is, which I thought was interesting, and it was something I've been wanting to do a video on, and this week has been shit for videos because I've been live streaming so much this week. I was on World Class Bullshitters on Tuesday, and then I was on Noel's channel, the Titoz Zone last night. So I haven't got a chance to do more than 2 videos, so I'll have to do some stuff for the weekend. But they're bringing back Milestone, and I think that's good that they're doing that, because there's these characters that it's like, you want good black characters, here you go. There's all these characters from Milestone you can bring back, and I'm legitimately interested in seeing, reading some Static Shock, provided it's not fucking woke. This is my biggest concern right now.
McDuffie did Static Shock, right? And that was his, him, and he did that and Icon, right? If I'm not mistaken. I loved his runs on those things. Yeah.
Because I remember back in the 90s, I remember seeing Hardware, and I was like, wow, that looks fucking cool. I never
cool.
Yeah. I never bought it, but I was looking at the covers, and I was like, that looks really neat. It's like it never clicked with me that dude was black. I honestly didn't care. I mean, Spawn was black, it's like I didn't give a shit about that either. But I didn't know much about Milestone back then at the time. And so it's cool that they're bringing it back. It's cool that they're introducing these characters. It just goes to show you that you don't need to make Batman black. But my main concern is because it's 2020. And we all know what that means, right?
Well, they're not doing an Elseworld where it's Luke Fox that watched his dad get murdered in an alley and then dedicated the family fortune he made at Wayne Enterprises into becoming a Batman, right? Like, that's not going to be the story, the Elseworld story that's going to be done here.
Well, I don't know what they're doing. I know it's a limited run, but this is, what's that?
4 books.
4 books? Okay, it was 4. For some reason, I got in my head that was 12, but this, I believe, is the recycled stuff they're going to be doing from G5, because they're going to make Batman black this year, and obviously that didn't happen.
Remember when they tried that with Punisher and it really backfired?
2019.
What's that?
2019.
Yeah, so it was last year when they were supposed to do it.
Yeah,
but it got pushed back. So, yeah, I don't know. It's.
Well, wait a minute. So like the first Black Batman was Batwing. That was like 2011.
I think so. Yeah.
And it was
Luke Fox.
Yeah, but he was Congolese, right? Or something like it was in the Congo. It was like it was in Africa, right?
I think there are some stories that took place there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that was the first. I mean, well, Batwing, but then and then the Luke Fox, right after that, right? I mean,
maybe. I mean, I only perused the comics kind of like at an arm's length at that time because I'd gotten out by 2006 because they were just turning into crap then.
So real quick, Clobbering Times is saying, I sat in on the stream for 8 hours for the silly event. Did you notice that they hardly promoted any comics at all except for Milestone? I didn't get a chance to watch the entire thing. I mainly caught a lot of the like video game and movie announcements. But yeah, you're right, man. It's like they barely talked about anything. So John Willis is asking, what is Milestone or Millstone? It's Milestone. Milestone was the first Black-owned comic book company, and all their characters were centered around Black characters.
Static.
Static.
Yeah.
Static
I'm trying to remember
with Rocket and a few others.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got some of those comics somewhere in my collection. They were I enjoyed them.
It was really interesting because it was actually put out. It was its own company, but everything was released kind of under the DC umbrella, and it takes place in what is called the Dakotaverse.
Yeah,
and in the city is called Dakota. Like I said, I'm not like super familiar. I'm not an expert on it, but honestly, with this announcement, it does make me want to go back and track down some Static, comics and read them. And the cool thing that they're doing is they're releasing them, on Comixology and stuff like that, and. It dealt with social issues for its time, but I wouldn't consider it being shoved down your throat. Of course, that's where we got the Static Shock cartoon, was because of Milestone.
Yep.
And that was something I used to passively watch because it was a great show. I want to say it was on Saturday mornings, right? Is when Static Shock was on.
It was. There's also like a Batman Beyond spinoff with like one of the drone robots that are used for combat that gained sentience and became a character. Can't remember the name for it. Zeta, maybe Zeta 1 or something.
Zeta 1, yeah, that sounds familiar. And so they're talking about doing a Static movie. And it's like, that's pretty cool if they do that. I managed to, like I said, I watched this one. I was kind of hoping that there was more to it, but they talked about the new, Black Catwoman, which makes no sense. They should just cancel the fucking show when she left, honestly.
The Black Batwoman. Yeah, sorry, I thought you said Catwoman there.
Sorry, did I say Catwoman? I meant Batwoman. Yeah, that's okay. Everything runs the fucking together after a while, guys, because we have a Black Catwoman.
Yeah.
Well, like she's
breaks
the third
things.
Black Catwoman, and I have no problem with Zoe Kravitz. I liked her kit. I thought Halle Berry could have been a good Catwoman, but she was given the terrible story.
Oh, gosh, she really was bad.
She was given a great villain in Sharon Stone. I think Sharon Stone could have been a fun villain for her to face up against. But again, like they just did not have a script that was worthy of the names involved of that production. And I remember the marketing for it, and I remember. All of them just talking about, we're basing it off the old Egyptian lore of cat people. And it's like, no, you're not. You're lying. I know that.
Yeah, but it's like, this lady that they cast for the new Batwoman, I think she's rather cute, man.
She's very pretty.
She's very pretty.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna complain.
She's got curves, and so they're gonna have to retailer that Batwoman suit to really fit a real woman now instead of Ruby Rose.
Yeah, instead of Ruby Rose. But and this is interesting. They've been actually trying to bring back Milestone for a while, but because of Dwayne McDuffie's widow, I guess they kind of left her out because they kind of got in touch with everybody, but they didn't contact her. So there was like this lawsuit that happened. So I'm guessing they must have cleared that up. And
my understanding is that the McDuffie estate technically still has creator rights and ownership of the characters he wrote.
Yeah.
She would have to be contacted if they wanted to use any of her.
Yeah, I'm curious because they're not bringing back hardware, but they're bringing back Icon and Rocket. They're bringing back Static. They're introducing some new characters.
I'm worried about Icon because Icon was the one that got closest to dealing with the deep social issues of superheroes and the police. Like Rocket was always in the right with her assumptions, and Icon was trying to be altruistic and believe in the proper authorities, because even though he's been around for like 200 years and seen that type of racial stuff, he still holds humanity in like positive light. And yeah, there was always a couple of back and forths where Icon's like, hey, I'm gonna go talk to this cop because I can offer assistance. And Rocket's like, well, you're gonna do that, he's gonna pull a gun on you. And what happens? The cop pulls a gun on him. And
yeah,
like it's just
and I find this interesting, and I think Clobber in Times is right. I was selling comics back when Milestone first came out. It didn't really sell all that well back then, and I think part of the reason why is because if you're simply writing black characters for black people, well, you're kind of limiting your audience, right? I mean, don't you want white people to read it as well? And it's the reason why we say that comics are for everybody. It's the reason why, it doesn't matter if the character's black, it should be interesting. Anybody should be able to pick it up and read it. So that's the thing that I'm kind of concerned about, is that it's that whole, by black people for black people, you're kind of limiting your audience. I mean, hell, I wouldn't want a creator to go, these are white comics, by white people for white people. I mean, first off, they're going to call it racist, obviously.
Yeah, but it also just feels like limiting. It's like, oh, I only want
it's like
X% amount of an audience.
Yeah.
All of these
comics are
enterprises
for white men only. That's dumb, because you're limiting your audience. It's like do something I was gonna say, obviously, you want to do something that has as much broad appeal as possible. I think that may have been one of the limiting factors of Milestone back then. I don't know. Like I said, I found out about them much later. But even though I was aware of the comics, I didn't realize that was its own thing. I thought it was still DC. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, nothing. I was just going to say, these are for-profit enterprises, so you want the maximum amount of audience you can get. That's all. Same thing you said.
Yeah. Spawn's another example of an amazing black character. I love that book.
I'm surprised the social justice warriors haven't gone after Todd McFarlane for being a white Canadian guy who wrote about a black character.
Yeah.
Because I remember those comics. I remember when they came out with action figures at the same time. It was really crazy and weird and pretty cool, because those were like gorgeous action figures.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, you get a toy and you get something to read. That's a cool marketing gimmick. I never realized it much as a kid, but as I got older and I saw that trend was still happening, it's like, hey, that's kind of cool. How do you, kill two birds with one stone? But of course, then some of the parents got really upset with the level of violence and adult themes of the comics that were with the toys.
Oh yeah,
kids. They did not grasp that aspect.
Well, the other thing too, it's like the HBO series was fucking amazing.
Yeah, there's that.
Holy shit, it was so fucking good. But it's really funny because like an issue 1 of Spawn, and I was reading it, and remember my dyslexic brain doesn't get things. I was reading it, and I was like, he transforms himself into looking more like a normal person. He's a white guy with blonde hair. He's like, but I'm black. I'm like, what do you mean he's black? The guy's clearly white. Oh, I get it. Okay, it took me a moment there. So yeah. I was like, and it's like, oh, okay. I just kept reading the book. I didn't fucking care. It was a good book. So Clobber Times is saying, good point. And to be honest, you nailed it. Why it didn't sell very well. Limited audience. I admit I wasn't interested in Milestone. Yeah. I mean, there you go.
Yeah.
It's you got to make stuff that has broad appeal.
Yeah. Now, bringing it back to what we were talking about with this lady here, who's going to be the new Batwoman. Mm-hmm. They're not giving her a good backstory, guys. I know, that's the irony behind all this. We are doing the same thing. Script has said this. Script, do you want to say the same thing you've said like 3 times about this? Because it's just dumb.
That they come up with, well, this is the situation. They came up with a backstory before they even cast the actor. So they already were shooting themselves in the foot, because you already knew off the top that they were definitely going to cast someone that would be different than Ruby Rose. And the only things that they could safely make confirm different than Ruby Rose was her ethnicity. They couldn't change the fact that the character would have to be a lesbian. They couldn't change the fact the character had to be a woman. So the only thing they could do is change the character to a different ethnicity. And the most obvious choice
It could have been a drag queen.
They could have. Yeah, RuPaul as the new Batwoman.
Yeah, Bat Queen.
Yeah,
there we go.
So, and the other part too is that there are a lot of Asian actors that are a little apprehensive of playing gay characters. It's just the way it is. So you kind of really limit it to.
Well, that's the thing too, is that
to one other alternative.
They didn't have to make her gay again. That.
Yep.
Well, you did because your name's Greg Berlanti, and everything that you make,
and he's a gay man, so he has to have his type of stuff in there.
Yes.
So. Okay. I had no idea who's gay, and then quite frankly, I don't care. But it makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah, there's no secret there.
Yep.
Like I said, I don't care where people shove their show. I really don't care. and it's a shame that people let that kind of influence it. But oh well, yeah, whatever. Right, what you know, I guess.
But if you take a look at all of his shows, they're all derivatives. So he only knows one subject, and he only hires writers that know the one subject. And even though I don't deny that he has an absolute love for the characters of the shows that he creates, because he does have a great deal of knowledge about them, he has his apprehensions about committing fully to what it was. I mean, even when I remember he was pitching Arrow around, it was basically just it was literally Batman Begins. Like Green Arrow found some sort of like Queen Industries physical armor, body armor, military grade body armor that he was going to wear. Mm-hmm. And when the CW was telling him, yeah, we can't afford those types of costumes, that's when he reluctantly said, okay, we'll just throw him in like a leather jacket and leather pants and just make it a little bit more closer to the fact that of a comic book. And even then, it wasn't that changed. But by the time they got to the third season of Arrow and the second season of The Flash, that's when Berlanti realized he was kind of he had locked in his series, and he could start doing whatever type of propaganda he wanted, because there were some spin-off shows and backdoor pilots from Smallville that didn't take off. And that's what he used as the metric to see if he could get his stuff going. So if you can make it 2 seasons on your main show, and your spin-off show gets good ratings on its first season, then you're pretty much locked in for up to 10 years for each show. Mm-hmm. And so he can write whatever the heck he wants. He's never going to get canceled. And the only reason Arrow ended early is because Stephen Amell was like tired of, he loved the character, but he was tired of doing the role because it wasn't going anywhere. So there's, granted, it took him 6 years to realize the show wasn't going anywhere, but he was right.
I need to shut up. So I have 2 comments that kind of play into what we're talking about. So Clover Ties is saying, I'm not a Spawn fan, but he was a prime example of a black character whose popularity had nothing to do with his skin color. Absolutely. And it's because of the amazing art, the interesting story. Yeah, man, you're absolutely right. It's I during the time period, I bought like all the crossover books they did. I bought the Batman Spawn crossover, and he ends up getting the shoelace in the head because of the Batarang. I thought that was really really cool.
Which is weird, because I didn't think Batman would use his more deadlier Batarangs on a person's head.
Well, I think because he knew that he couldn't kill Spawn, but
and I was a huge. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, Miss Pixie says that if a storyline is good, it transcends color, gender. Most scripts don't work like that now. Yes, that's unfortunately the case.
Yeah,
it's true. Very, very true. And I have to tell you that one of my favorite superheroes ever, and probably one of my favorite couple of movies when I was a little younger, was Blade.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
I could love the Blade movies. Yeah.
Daywalker. Dude.
Midnight Suns was a great story arc that got me introduced to Blade. Great character.
Yeah.
And of course, Wesley Snipes, man. Fucking Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, he did a really good job, and then he stopped paying taxes. So
Well, that's the thing too, man. It's like Wesley Snipes was like my go-to movie guy, right? I always talk about Passenger 57. I mean, there's a lot of movies that guy did. Fucking
Demolition Man.
Demolition Man. great villain. You know,
Yep.
I love the shit that guy was in, man. I really do.
White Men Can't Jump. Friggin'
Can't
awesome
Jump,
there. I mean, he was in so much stuff. He was so good in everything he was in.
Wong Fu.
Yeah.
Oh God,
he was good in that.
Yeah. It's pretty funny. We were talking about the other day. It's like, come on, that's actually a good movie.
It was. It was. You forget all the people that were in it too. I mean, there were names in that movie. So
there were.
Yeah,
they didn't pay taxes.
Oops.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happens when actors do the foolish thing and incorporate their name instead of creating a company that they can be self-employed in.
Production company.
Yep.
I have to say, man, I really liked the first two Blade movies. The third one was garbage, but
David S. Goyer did the third one, and David S. Goyer is a notorious hack in Hollywood who has marketed himself as the comic book guy, but doesn't know jack shit about comic books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's the weirdest thing. So Netflix has a hit on their hands in with the Marvel the Marvel TV universe, right? And then they kill it, and Disney didn't help them. Yeah, I mean Disney didn't help them, but you know, keeping the Punisher, keeping the Punisher alive, keeping Matt Murdock's character alive, keeping all of those characters alive for another season, they could have done. I don't know why they didn't just run it out in one more season for each one of those shows.
Disney Plus was kind of like the weird thing. There's a lot of rights issues when it comes to another entity licensing out Disney characters.
Right.
Marvel had set up the deal with Netflix, I think, at the same time that Disney purchased Marvel. And then it just took years for them to get everything in order because this was like down the road. That was the one thing that Paramount was really good at. They did have a plan for their Marvel universe for up to 20 years. And it was Perlmutter and Feige and a couple other producers that wanted to do this. And it was basically like a long shot. It's like, yeah, if we get like 3 successful movies, we can actually do this. Because they didn't know, but it was just all like development stuff. So nothing was committed. But they did start up talks with Netflix at that time. And Netflix was like, yeah, sure. Like, well, obviously going to be licensing the movie to your Iron Man and Captain America and Thor to be putting on our thing. So yeah, if we do a TV show, that would be great because that's when Netflix was interested at the time.
Yeah.
And when the Marvel Cinematic Universe started to pick up, and then they got the funding and that they needed to create Daredevil, and Daredevil was a hit.
Yep.
Jessica Jones' first season was pretty decent.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Luke Cage was phenomenal. That first season was great.
It was very good.
I really liked it. And the first half of season 2 was good, and the second half was kind of
when they ended up killing off
Lily from Star Trek. Diamondback. They killed Diamondback.
Yeah, because I thought they're setting him up to be, or was it who's the villain that came at the very end? Is that Diamondback? I don't remember anymore. But it was the dude that they killed
at the very end of the first season. Yeah.
Okay, no, it was the other guy. Cottonmouth.
Cottonmouth was running throughout both seasons. Yeah, they killed him second season.
Yeah, well, no, they killed Cottonmouth like halfway through season 1.
Did they? I might be getting them bleeding out because Lily from Star Trek First Contact took over the club.
Yeah.
And then when she dies, she leaves it to Luke Cage, and Luke Cage then gets corrupt because of it.
Yeah, but that was the thing. That's where that season went wrong. They should have saved Diamondback for season 2, and they should have kept Cottonmouth as the main villain.
Well, they didn't know they were going to get a season 2, so they decided to just you lead with your strongest foot forward if you can, and then hopefully.
Well, they should have led with Diamondback then. That's the thing. Anyway, this is the thing right here I have highlighted that I am the most concerned with is that John Ridley is also authoring a DC Black Label book spotlighting the heroes of color in the DCU called The Other Side of the DC Universe. And it's not highlighted in this article, but there's some stuff I read in the Hollywood Reporter that does have me a bit concerned.
Oh, do tell.
I'm listening.
They said they're going to introduce something that's going to shake up the DC Universe. Let me see if I can find the article.
Of course they are.
They're going to ruin the character of Vixen, I know it. And she's one of my favorite Ancillary Justice League members.
My concern is that
background.
All right, I found it. Let me just pull it over here. That's okay. Okay, years after the compilation of the second outing of his alternate history series, American Way, 12 Years a Slave, screenwriter John Ridley is returned to comics to reveal the other side of DC history, a long-awaited series exploring DC's lengthy comic book mythology from a new angle. It has been newly scheduled for November release. The 5-part series originally announced in what?
Nothing.
Wait, John Ridley, he's the same guy that wanted the warning label before Gone with the Wind, right?
He's the one who wanted then the pull Gone with the Wind.
Right.
Yeah. Here's what we get. 5-part series originally announced in 2018 re-examines important and iconic moments of DC's comic book history from the point of view of characters from traditionally disenfranchised groups, including Jefferson Pierce, better known as Black Lightning, Renee Montoya, The Question, Gillespie,
Giuseppe
Giuseppe
Camoncoli.
Yeah.
Camoncoli.
Camo, yeah.
I'm not familiar with Camo. Oh,
I am not either. Andrea
Cucci.
And colorist Jose.
Those are people that are people
Villarubia.
working on the books.
Yeah,
those last 3 names that we don't recognize. Okay,
yeah.
Okay,
so
that makes sense because I don't know who Camo is. That's an artist, I guess.
Yeah.
Renee Montoya, she's only been around for like 25 years. She's
not new, or she's not legacy character.
Like Black Lightning,
re-examining. This is the thing that makes me very concerned. Re-examining important and iconic moments of DC comic book history. What do you think that means? What does that translate to?
Basically, what Black Lightning's like, I'm going to go help fight Doomsday against Superman. They're like, no, you can't do that. You're not powerful enough. Is that what they're going to do?
I don't know. I hope they don't introduce something like white supremacy. It's all about white supremacy into the books.
They left out John Stewart in that thing, and John Stewart's a significant Green Lantern.
Yeah,
one of my favorites too. Bubble Guy, who's also an engineer and former Marine. Lots of cool things about him.
Like I said, I'm just concerned that they're going to try and rewrite some things. He's
going to try. Of course, he's going to do it. I mean, it's all about resolving issues for the disenfranchised, which is why we're burning and looting and tearing shit up in the country right now.
Oh man, Clover Times are killing me, dude. The 5-part series will sell 4 copies. all the Ridley's family.
Probably true.
Oh no, I want to check it out just to see how bad it is and see what he does with it. Because he actually got a lot of criticism for 12 Years a Slave for misrepresenting things.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. I have my concerns. But the first thing I thought was funny, he's like, yeah, I want to write Batman. And the first thing I'm going to do, and again, I'm paraphrasing here. First thing I'm going to do is make him black. It's like, just write Batman then.
Just write Batman. Like, listen, the majority of people in Gotham within the DC universe have no idea what the ethnicity Batman is. They just think of him as some sort of like mythical beast thing that beats up criminals. Like they don't know, and that's like the fun of Batman within its own universe. It's not like he's posing for photos. And it's like, oh yeah, it's a white guy in a rubber suit. That's like
this is the thing I'm concerned about. As Clovertines puts it, it'll probably be super woke revisionist drivel. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
Well, let's think of a couple of what are some of the big key moments in DC universe that he could talk. So he's got Death of Superman. He's got Death of Batman that happened a bit more recently. He's got any one of the crises. Things didn't the Atom wasn't the Atom originally going to turn into like the Anti-Monitor, so then they switched that out because people figured it out early. Trying to think what else is is he going to address Roy Harper's heroin addiction when Ollie and Hal went on their road trip across America? He's going to do another perspective on that. One of Roy Harper's friends, I guess, who happens to be maybe Black Lightning at that time. And then I don't
I don't know.
I think
it's going to be all about how. I think it's all going to be about how Black Lightning was marginalized.
Yes.
That's what my suspicions are.
Yeah.
Well, he only had a couple of titles. I mean, they didn't sell well, even though I think the character is super cool. Like, dude with lightning powers. Come on, man. Like, yeah. His wife is the sister of John Stewart. John Stewart's sister. He's got superhero.
Oh, I had no idea.
Connections. Oh, really? Me, the whitest guy on YouTube, knows something about comics about black characters.
I always have to point out, okay, all the comics I read back in the 90s, or I would say majority of the stuff I read was not Marvel and DC. Honestly, I didn't read DC until New 52.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's a terrible introduction to DC.
Yeah. As much as I love Batman and whatnot, I always loved the shows more so than the comics. Yeah. So.
Oh no! Like comics have their own form of storytelling. That's really tricky. You should watch the Midnight's Edge Chuck Dixon interview because he actually Chuck Dixon goes into a little bit about it, how it's definitely a different narrative style.
Oh, it certainly is. But a lot of the stuff I read a lot of Dark Horse, man. I read a lot of Dark Horse. I was reading Terminator. Yeah. I was reading Alien versus Predator. All that stuff. Trying to remember what else. It's like my friend tried to get me into X-Men, and when they did the X-Men launch, I picked that up. I never really stuck with it. Image, I was big into Image.
Getting into X-Men, yeah.
I love the Image stuff. You know, like I said, big Spawn fan.
Oh, like Wildcats and all that? And then?
Yeah. No? Wildcats. I got my issue number 1. Signed by Jim Lee.
Any Valiant?
Yeah. Read Valiant. Yeah. Archer and Armstrong. I read Bloodshot. I still have my Bloodshot number 1 with the foil cover.
Awesome.
Yeah. I still have my Turok with the foil cover as well.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they're all over there somewhere.
That's how I feel about everything. Yeah. If it's not here in the giant bookshelf of Doom, then I don't know where it is.
Well, I have a baker's rack with short boxes stacked on it, and I've been switching over to the plastic ones, but one of my cats was spraying it, and so I have all the plastic, the plastic boxes, short boxes in my closet now, so it doesn't get peed on by my fucking animals, man.
I hear that. I definitely need a bookcase of Doom. I have most of my comics, most of my books, they're all in Rubbermaid drums because I just don't have the space in my apartment to put them on display. It also makes it a nightmare when I want to read one of them and I have to start sifting through like which Rubbermaid bin has it in.
Well, this just this one in this room on this side is 14 feet long and 14 feet high.
Does it have a ladder?
No, I just grabbed the step ladder that's in the other room. But yeah, yeah, dude. This room I had to build because our books were insane. It's nuts. If it's some form of media, like I have a bunch of DVD, Blu-rays, and stuff in here too, because you can't put them in the media room. There's no more space.
Yeah. Well, in my old house, man, I had a small office and I couldn't fit all my crap. Between my comics and try to think of what else I have around here.
Yeah, I like I said, this
computer stuff.
Yeah, and music.
This shit wouldn't work. This shit I have now wouldn't work. I couldn't do face to camera at back of my old house. I mean, it was literally like my desk, my chair, and then it was like shelf.
So a hall. That room was a hallway.
It was a hallway.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that was like the back of it. I mean, I had more room, but it's like I love this desk. It's a sit-stand desk, but I had. I'm trying to remember what else I had in there. Some other stuff. Anyway, it was very cramped. Needless to say, that office was very cramped. Where here I got lots of space. It's like this is at the edge of my desk. There's probably like a good 10 feet to the window.
Oh, that's
maybe 10 feet. Yeah, it's pretty spacious. I love this office. I laid claim to it when we moved in.
Yeah,
when we were talking about
hunting
buying
in
this
Texas.
house, I was like, I'm taking this as my office.
No,
because
I'm
it's
still
the
house
bigger
hunting in
room.
Texas online, and I've been bookmarking all the things, and I've actually even like sent some email correspondence to the realtors there. It's like, yeah, I'm looking for a place that has an office big enough for this many books, and it's like, a couple thousand. And man, I just want to get a proper home. I'm tired of renting. But
Yeah.
I mean, and where I am in Canada, that's all you can really do. You can't afford anything. Like,
That's nuts.
yeah.
Well, it is after 1 a.m. We should probably call it quits. And I know that some people are getting tired, like Eric K. I will see you tomorrow, Eric. Now I don't have to type it anymore. I'll see you guys during Friday Night Tights for all those of you who will be joining. Very special guest, Razor Fist.
Oh, yeah. Too.
Oh, yeah. I've streamed with him once on Doom's channel. He's a cool guy.
Rageaholic.
Believe it or not, I've never seen a Razor Fist video. As much as I've known about the existence of Razor Fist for 3 years, I still need to watch his videos.
He has a beautiful way of speaking. Like he just everything just flows so elegantly.
God, I wish I was a eloquent speaker. I am so not.
Oh, he's a virtuoso, and his thought is formed. And while he's talking, I mean, you're like, how are you 8 sentences ahead in this paragraph? I don't know how you're doing this because he didn't write it down. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Well, I mean, some people have a gift for the spoken word, man. I'm not one of them.
Well, he's a person that has a stutter that he has to get over. So he really dedicated his time to forming thoughts in his words. So yeah, I mean, it shows.
It's amazing.
So, yeah, you check out a couple of his videos, you'll be hooked. You may not always agree with some of his opinions and stuff, but like he knows how to present his arguments very, very well. And you don't get lost with the minutia of what he's saying. Every word is well picked and well used.
I am terrible at making arguments.
I usually find that I'm making an argument, and halfway through I have another argument to make, and then I get back to my original argument. If you guys have noticed, that's what happens when I start talking. It's like, here's the argument. Here's the middle part that has nothing to do. It's just a different argument. And then I'll give you the actual end of the argument. It's bad.
Well, Miss Pixie, the lighting was a work in progress, and it finally. For the longest time, when I had the red light against the back wall, that was actually an old darkroom light I had, and it was a DIY darkroom light. So that's the reason why it was red. I had the LEDs on the back of my bookshelf over there, and finally I got. I can't pull it out. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, this little thing right here. It's
awesome.
Woo, yeah, it's pretty sweet. So I just stuck it in there. I got another one over there. So I might get like a couple more. Just
purple LED pot.
I want to light the shelves behind me so you can see the action figures. Right now it's kind of dark, and I'm not going to turn the overhead light on.
For about $35, you can buy 16-foot long LED strips that you can program.
Oh yeah,
to any
I
color.
got them, man. They're on the bookshelf. You can't see it, but they're on the back of the bookshelves. They're kind of drowned out now. You can see it when I had the red. Right. You could see where it was blue, where it started turning purple. Yeah, that's where it's at. It's also on the back of this shelf that runs all the way along, but it's kind of being drowned out by these brighter blue LED lights. Well, I mean, technically they're RGB. I just set them blue because I like blue. I like blue lights. Blue lights are cool. But yeah, I need to get something to light back there. Just like I said, I'm not going to use the overhead because it doesn't look as cool.
I just right now I just have 3 6000K lights in front of me and 1 6000K light behind me.
That's just above daylight. Yeah, that's Your eyes must never adjust when you go in and outdoors. I
have this light here that uses to light my face, and I have another one here. I'll just kind of bring down that. Yeah. It's cool. I was using that for a while to try and help not make my eyes dark.
Yeah, every light in this house is daylight bulb. daylight LED. Every single one.
Oh yeah, those are the best ones to use. They help your eyes significantly because I always hate as a kid going from outdoors to indoors and seeing like that green filter because the artificial light is terrible. Yep. And but yeah, as soon as I left my home and I started switching to LED lights, which is about 16 years ago, maybe a bit more. Yeah, my optometrist has been saying like, hey, your eyes have not degraded at all in like since your first visit. Like, what are you doing differently? Like, well, I'm outdoors a lot more, and I don't. Whenever I am indoors, it's usually daylight lights that I use. Mm-hmm. And she's telling me like, hey, that might be putting less stress on your eyes, and might actually be reason why they're not your prescriptions maintained the same for the longest time and of anyone else.
Clower Times, I'll get your comment in a second. But this Grand Moff Inquisitor, comics, you are the neon light in my life. Is it because I'm an annoying buzzing sound that drives you crazy over time?
The neon gas is what makes the light so bright.
Today is August 28th, birthday of King Comics Jack. Holy shit! I didn't realize that.
Yeah, Kirby.
Already,
again,
it's
Jack 1 hour Kirby's into his birthday in your time zone. Yeah, the great Jack Kirby.
Holy crap! Yeah, the king of comics, Jack Kirby.
Holy shit.
Beautiful and simple art at the same time. It's like I love the stuff that he does because you could, like, as a kid, I could draw freehand Jack Kirby like art, but I could never color it because I was never good at coloring. But like. He kept his design simple, but you understood all the details in it at the same time. And then when he really kind of like let loose a little bit later on in his career, you're just blown away by.
That's one thing I have to say that I like about Russ Leach's artwork. Yeah, I'm gonna pimp Russ real quick.
Russ,
go for it.
Let me find it. It's IndeGoGo. Here it is. Okay. He definitely has some very Kirby inspirations to his artwork. Hang on. All right, let me share it. If you haven't watched this trailer, you should definitely go check it out. But here's some of his artwork right here. I don't think I can pop it up, but when I was watching his video. That he was doing some stuff that looked very Kirby-like. Let me just go play it. I'm not going to play the audio, but I'm going to try and find some of the panels I was talking about. Like right there.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, crap. What?
They're using a blur focus. Yeah, transition. Yeah. There you go. Damn.
Yeah. I mean, this is the guy that did the original, I won't say the original, the second iteration of the comics division Avatar. But yeah, dude. I mean, this stuff is just really neat. But there was something he did, and there we go. Here's the actual. Here's the video. Let me see. That.
Yeah, that shot right there was so Kirby.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Let me back it up. There we go. That
right there.
Go away. That looks Kirby.
Yeah.
That looks very Kirby.
Cool. Look at the coloring.
It's detail with clean, hard lines, and it's not overly detailed. It's not trying to be like photorealistic or anything. It's like simple with primitives. Get your basics, then add in your little flares here and there. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to him actually kicking off the campaign. It hasn't launched yet. I've been plugging it with my videos. I've been trying to get it plugged on Friday Night Tights. I was supposed to plug it last week, but I completely forgot.
Have you seen the stuff that Xevious is doing with the Sins of the Fae book?
No.
You should. It's pretty cool.
There's a lot of stuff out there, man. I've been backing here and there. Yeah, dude, shoot me a link. I'll have to go check it out. I still need to go like in back Florida, man. I guess it just looks freaking stupid and hilarious. Yeah.
I'm actually going to be backing that hopefully end of day Monday because I should be getting my PO box set up so I can actually do my Script Doctor transactions. But please don't send me stuff. I don't have space for it. I'm using it mostly so that I can buy things through my Script Doctor accounts that I made.
Yeah. I need to I need to go and check my PO box tomorrow. There's a book coming in, I believe. Something's coming in. I don't know what it is, but it's probably one of my IndeGoGos I backed. I'm so behind on reading books. I need to read issue stuff. I need to read, the like 3 or 4 Cyberfrog books I have.
Oh yeah, like Ethan's is doing a reissue with his latest campaign of all the original Unforgettable Tales, I think it is.
Yeah, I got the Unforgettable Tales. Those will come in, but I forgot to back. It wasn't Blood Honey. It was the second one.
Wrecked Planet.
Wrecked Planet. That's it.
Yeah.
But he did it again, and I backed it then, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be coming out soon. And then there's the stuff I backed from your boy Zach. I backed Pandemic, and for the life of me, I can't remember the fucking G.I. Joe book he was doing.
Oh yeah, yes, I can't remember the title of it, but yeah, I know that book.
Yeah, I keep blanking on it for some reason. Anyway.
I can't remember the title. It's hard for me to keep all those sorted out.
Oh my God, it's 1:22 in the morning. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and we'll start giving our goodbyes. So let's start with you, the whitest man on YouTube, the Script Doctor.
Thank you. I was so happy to be able to catch the show, even though it had to take a 6-hour nap or a 4-hour nap.
Damn, that's practically a full day, man.
Yeah, pretty much for me. So yeah, I am the Script Doctor. I have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/scriptdoctor. I've just dropped my episode 3 review of Lower Decks. I've written my episode 4 review, so tomorrow I'll be doing the recording and editing of that. So hopefully I'll get it out a little earlier this time. And you can also follow me on Twitter at ScriptDoctorPhD, and keep an eye out because a week today over on Drew, the Supreme Heretics channel, for the Pegasus Actual podcast, we're going to be covering their TV movie Razor. And I think we're going to be starting at 8 p.m. that day, but just follow me on Twitter to find out about that. And we're going to be talking about that great thing. And I do that here with Culture Casino. So look forward to that.
And of course we have Culture Casino.
Hey guys, my eyes are going crazy right now. It's because I itched one and then I don't know what I had on my hands, but this is awful. But hey, look, Script and I get to hang out from time to time.
Rub your eye after, scratching your ass. That's all I gotta say. No,
my hands are clean. I don't know. Anyway, this was an awesome stream. I love hanging out here, hanging out with Script, hanging out with pretty much everybody. I kind of am bummed out that Tom didn't make it back, but maybe we'll talk about what he wanted to talk about next week. So until then, guys, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please just consider going by there, taking a look, see if you like any videos. Tomorrow, I am throwing straight fire in my video that releases in midday Pacific time, so at noon Pacific. That video is straight fire, and it's one that I've been wanting to do for a little while now. So, nice. Other than that, check out Script's channel because I'm digging every single minute of these Lower Decks reviews.
Oh God, his Picard reviews are great, and I'm behind. I need to finish off the Lower Decks ones.
I know. But anyway, so check out Script. He's a good guy. I like hanging out with him. So, and of course, comics is the best. So.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it. All right. So hopefully if you randomly found this channel and you like what I have to say about things and stuff, subscribe. I kind of run the gambit when it comes to stuff. I like talking about entertainment, but I also like to talk about some of the political stuff too. Just the state of the world and how it's burning. At least the United States, right? It's the United States that's burning.
Listen, the United States will definitely recover. It may take some time, but things will figure out its new standing, and hopefully it will be a stronger for it. I have faith in that.
I figured it out. Script Doctor is actually Howard Johnson, the musician from the 90s or 80s.
Shh.
Things can only get better. That's the song.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to put in the work, but yes, things can only get better.
Yeah. Don't forget to give it a like on your way out if you haven't. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Stop by pixelnation.io. I post the things, the YouTube things. I post the live streams that I delist them and I just put them there. I need to put them onto my backup channel or my my live channel, so they're not like smacking the crap out of my YouTube ratings. That's the reason why they get they're not private, they're just unlisted, because people tend to watch like maybe 20 minutes of a live stream, and especially when it goes on for 3 hours, it definitely takes a sock to the pants because YouTube. But
because YouTube doesn't like content creators. That's basically
no, fucking doesn't like content creators for some reason. And like I said, keep an eye out. Bookmark pixelnation.io. We'll be launching the forums the next couple weeks, and I want to make sure that if you were not getting notifications, that will be your way of getting notifications is through the website. So good night, folks. Catch you next time.